5956.
From the Mark Spain Real Estate Studios, this is your Titans NFL Draft Station. WGFX Gallatin, Nashville. Trending now at 104.5 The Zone.
It is 6 o'clock. Good morning. I'm Jonathan Schaefer. The Braves posted a 6th spot in the top of the first inning. Never looked back, defeating the Chicago Cubs 13-4 on Sunday Night Baseball. Atlanta hit 4 home runs in the first, including a towering shot by Freddie Freeman. Braves improved to 7-9. Other MLB scores: Philly shut out the Cardinals 2-0. Aaron Nola threw a 2-hitter, and Cleveland defeated Cincinnati 6-3. Shane Bieber fanned 13. He became the first pitcher in modern history to have 10 or more strikeouts in each of his first 4 starts of the season. Speaking baseball, Vanderbilt outslugged the Vols 10-4 on Sunday to take 2 of 3 from the weekend series in Knoxville. NASCAR, Alex Bowman won at Richmond. Golf, a 47-year-old Stuart Sink captured his 3rd RBC Heritage title, winning by 4 strokes. And the Nashville Predators in action tonight, hosting the Chicago Blackhawks. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and the Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Do I have everybody's attention now?
Now it's time for Jason Martin and Vol for Life Ramon Foster.
Powered by All Four Seasons Garage Doors.
Together, they are JMart and Ramon on 104.5 The Zone.
Good morning, everybody. Say again for Jason Martin. My name is Mike Keith, joined by Ramon Foster. 615-737-1045. JMart and Ramon on 104.5 The Zone on a Monday morning.
Morning.
Big man, it is good to see you.
It is good to see you. First time meeting you in person.
Isn't that wild?
That is, to think we've worked together before.
We've worked together quite a bit.
Numerous times.
Numerous
yes.
times.
And this is my first, it's got to be 7-8 months after we first spoke?
I think
if
that's
not
right.
Longer?
I think that's right. We've started doing things together for the official Titans podcast, the OTP, which is, by the way, we'd love for you to subscribe to the OTP wherever you get your podcast.
Watch me do it right now.
Thank you very much. I get $5 every time you do, so I really appreciate that. That's it. Amy Wells gets 10, but that's another story.
You know what? We gotta push your leverage.
We really
up.
do. We really do. But the point is, we have started to be able to do the podcast tapings together again.
Yeah.
Socially distant. Thank you. Socially distant at Nissan Stadium with our friend Ashley Farrell, who runs our show. And it is so nice to be back having a conversation where you can look at the person and get the reaction.
You know what? When they told me that you were going to come in first, no disrespect to everybody else that's filled in for Jason, but I was just like, Keith, really? He said yes? Like, I was excited, okay? And because it gives me one to do a show with a guy like you who's a legend, although I botched, okay, Music City Musical, okay?
Still my favorite.
Still your favorite. But, of course, you being the man behind the call and just your lineage, the time you've had in this, the respect factor, I was just like, Moan, don't mess this up.
Oh, you're good.
Do not mess this up. And then I told you this morning, too, first thing I said to you is I was bringing in my coffee this morning for the building. I was like, I tried to beat you in. But my people at Starbucks just had me a little late this morning. And I was just like, I got to be there. I got to be professional.
You did great.
I appreciate it.
You did great.
I appreciate that.
And our program brought to you by All Four Seasons Garage Doors. When trust matters, you can count on All Four Seasons Garage Doors in Nashville. Professional garage door installation and repair from a family-owned and operated business. Visit allfourseasonsgarages.com/Nashville to learn more. Mm-hmm. I guess where we are right now is we're in that holding zone as we're 10 days before the draft now.
We are.
And Dave McGinnis is going to be on at 8:20.
Beautiful.
And I'm looking forward to talking with Coach Mack about what goes on with teams right now, because even in this year where things have been delayed, I would imagine 99% of the boards are set. Wouldn't you?
They are. You would think so. There's, depending on what comes out, I'm sure more guys got to do more medical. That's usually the biggest thing. And that's a different conversation because all of that would have been done in Indianapolis.
Right.
But, of course, they had a different method of doing it this year. I think it was 150 guys that were invited to do their medical. Some guys, I'm sure, had to do it twice or multiple times. And some teams have follow-ups at their universities. A guy I'm hoping whose medical went fine was our guy, Trey Smith. I'm hoping this guy's prospective is through the roof, okay? But as far as anything crazy coming up, I think, of course, teams do their due diligence, especially with the first round. The Thursday night is the biggest night, and you say Friday night also because the 2s and 3s. The way I've always been, been told how it works is the first rounders, especially the first 20, all first rounders, supposed to get you 5 years second contract. That's usually how you want it to be. Those are your team builders, okay? If you got a team full of first rounders, that means you've done a really good job of building and developing, okay? Second and third rounder guys are guys that's supposed to get at least 4. Depending on how well they perform, they're second contract guys or they outplay themselves and go to other teams. 4 through 7, you get about 3 to 4 years out of them, and then you move on from there. So these draft boards are where they want. The amount of time that coaches and GMs and front office teams, scouting departments have to break these guys down, it's got to be set. All the small school guys, NAIA, all the schools that you can think of, they're on these boards too.
Well, remember, you didn't see the majority of the small school guys in the fall of 2020 because the majority of them did not play.
That's so true.
And there are so many guys in this draft, whether they be small school, big school, top 5 prospects, who did not play. Trey Lance, the quarterback from North Dakota State, played 1 game.
How? I know.
1 game.
Yeah, and that's – of course, I'm sure he's had more meetings. Did he have a second workout?
He's getting ready to have another one that San Francisco is supposedly going to run, and San Francisco has the number 3 pick.
Yes. That is a pick. They made a move that kind of, I don't want to say put them in a box, but as much as they gave up to move up to number 3, it lets you also know this. They tried to play court and said, doesn't mean we're getting a quarterback. They got Jimmy Garoppolo. Yeah. Okay, whatever. You knew for a fact, if you move up that much and give up, 2 first rounds in a second, you're getting a quarterback.
Got to.
This is a franchise pick. And the thing that they got to deal with in this position, do you get Justin Fields, Mac Jones, or Trey Lance, who's having another pro day today? Again, small school guy, though, right?
He's a smaller school guy, but remember, he did not play his first year. In 2018, he redshirted.
Yeah.
In 2019, he started 16 games and went off.
Yeah.
Crazy good.
Yes.
And then played 1 game last fall, a one-off game, and he was 14 of 28 passing, and then he ran well, and he's a multi-purpose quarterback.
Which is huge.
But he's not projected as a day 1 starter because he doesn't have a ton of seasoning. There are some people who feel like he's the best athlete in the entire group, and that includes Justin Fields, and that's crazy talk because Justin Fields is a great athlete.
He is. So we were having this conversation. We might have to dive in and after the break because it's a broad conversation to be had about the prospective 5 guys or the potential 5 guys, meaning quarterbacks, being drafted in the first round. The last time this happened was 2018. Those 5 quarterbacks were Baker Mayfield,
Good
Sam
pick.
Darnold.
We don't know yet.
Sam Darnold, Josh Rosen.
We know.
Was number 10 overall. Okay. Josh Allen.
Yeah, pretty good.
And Lamar Jackson.
Pretty fair, too.
Fair.
But the whole thing about a quarterback is they have to project in your system.
Yes.
That's the key in all of this. Listen, Trevor Lawrence projects in whatever system Jacksonville's going to have him in.
They have to.
Yep.
They have to. Because, again, when you have the number 1 overall pick, on what everybody's saying is they sure cannot miss pick in Trevor Lawrence. There's other teams that are in this position, too, I think hold just as much pressure. And that's 2 and 3 also. That's Jets. And again, the 49ers, who not only got the number 3 pick, they paid for the number 3 pick. Big time.
Big.
And it's the quarterback position, man. You know, like anybody, you've seen some greats here in Nashville. You've seen some greats across the league. Just in general, we watch kids cultivate themselves into legends. I mean, Peyton Manning. he was as Trevor Lawrence as anybody ever was, okay?
But I covered that.
Yeah.
I covered that,
Yeah.
and Indianapolis was not sure about him until late in the process.
Wow.
They can say what they want right now, but they liked Ryan Leaf's upside a lot. A lot of analysts, a lot of smart people thought Ryan Leaf physically was a better prospect.
Wow. I know it's in hindsight, of
I
course.
know.
I know it's in hindsight. But you got to just look at it and be like, it's Peyton. He's played big-time ball. And, yeah, you got to give it to Ryan Leaf too. But just you felt like, and I'm sure David Cutcliffe at the time was still building up his reputation as a guy that's a quarterback whisperer up before we started calling these coaches quarterback whisperers now, okay? Well, these OCs. But how was Peyton not a surefire number one pick right now?
Well, the funny thing is when he decided to come back for the 97 season, the Jets were going to take him number one. Bill Parcells wanted Peyton Manning. By the time you got to 98 and the Colts had the number one pick, Ryan Leaf had this amazing year where he was also a Heisman finalist, and he had this incredible year at Washington State. He's bigger. He has a better arm. He throws more spirals, whatever you want to say.
And he's hot.
And he was hot. And I'll tell you, I rode up the elevator with both he and Randy Moss at the Downtown Athletic Club in December 1998, the night Charles Woodson won the Heisman Trophy. And I'll tell you, Ryan Leaf was a big dude.
You knew it was
him.
He
was a big dude. He was bigger than Randy Moss.
Okay.
He was bigger than Peyton Manning. He was certainly bigger than Charles Woodson. But, I mean, he was a massive 250-pound man.
Yeah.
And from the look test.
Right. He passed. Check mark
everything.
Single list.
And turned out to be one of the greatest busts in the history of the world. I saw one of his only wins as a starting quarterback here at Vanderbilt against the Tennessee Oilers when they beat the Oilers in the first official professional football game in Nashville. An exciting 13-7 thriller.
13-7.
It was so bad. It was about 175 degrees.
And I know, like, defenses had a different concentration back then.
Yes.
13-7.
Yes, it wasn't great. It was not a great debut for professional football. When we come back, I want to talk more quarterbacks because I want to read the comments from Sports Illustrated from Trevor Lawrence.
Yes.
And I want to know, Ramon Foster, I want to know from you, are we making too much out of this? And the second part of that, are NFL teams making anything out of it? A lot more to come. Hopefully your calls as well. 615-737-1045. 615-737-1045. Brought to you by All Four Seasons Garage Doors. This is JMart and Ramon on 104.5 The Zone.
Titans NFL Draft Talk can be found here. The home for Titans football.
Touchdown, Titans! A.J. Brown!
104.5 The Zone.
Masvidal and Usman put on a show the last time they stepped in the octagon. Round 2 is sure to pack a punch. DraftKings Sportsbook, the official sports betting partner of UFC, is putting you in the center of this weekend's title fight with 26-1 odds on either title contender to reign victorious. Pick either main event fighter to win during this weekend's UFC 256 title fight, and DraftKings Sportsbook will give you 26-1 odds. Just bet $5 on either fighter to win. If they walk out with the belt, you would cash $130. There's no better way to put your MMA knowledge to test than to put your money where your mouth is with DraftKings Sportsbook. And listen up, don't worry if MMA isn't for you. DraftKings Sportsbook offers great odds and promotions on basketball, hockey, and so much more. And this is the thing, DraftKings is safe, secure, and reliable, so you can deposit and withdraw your funds at your convenience. Download the top-rated DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use promo code WGFX when you sign up to turn $5 into $130 if the title contender of your choice wins. Place your bet and watch the fist fly this weekend. That's code WGFX to turn $5 into $130 if the fighter of your choosing takes home the crown. For a limited time, only at the DraftKings Sportsbook. Must be 21 years and older and present in Tennessee to bet. Restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. And if you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call or text the Tennessee Red Line at 1-800-889-9789.
Some things are just true, like your local Geico agent could save you hundreds. And also, you should never sneak up on a beekeeper.
Hey, beekeeper!
What the? Oh my gosh, my bees! Oh no, they're headed right for the balloon factory.
Your local Geico agent could help you save 15% or more. It's just true.
If you're looking for flooring and you absolutely positively have to know you're getting the best price, the choice is clear. At Buy Floors Direct, we buy direct from the factory in massive quantities and sell direct to you from our huge, clean warehouse without retail markups. The decor stores and home centers have expensive retail locations, fancy displays, and middlemen costs, and that means you'll pay more. Come in and see why contractors and designers buy their flooring at a Buy Floors Direct warehouse. These pros are always telling us how our quality floors are priced far lower than the retail stores. Our warehouses are full of tile, hardwood, laminate, waterproof floors, and everything you need to install them, including friendly advice. Go to buyfloorsdirect.com or visit a Buy Floors Direct warehouse because there's no reason to ever pay retail for flooring.
Hi, I'm Ryan Kelly with thehomeloanexpert.com. It's no secret that the housing market is red hot. Homes are selling day one and they're going for over list price. Some folks are making offers on homes that they haven't even seen in person. The competition is fierce. You have to be pre-approved and working with a strong mortgage lender. Get a leg up on the competition and get pre-approved now. TheHomeLoanExpert.com. The Home Loan Expert LLC, NMLS number 1326241.
What's up? It's Will Bowling. One of the things I love about betting on basketball is I'm always finding new player props or game props that I like. And what's cool about FanDuel Sportsbook is you can combine these props with other bets from the same game to score an even bigger payout. It's called a same game parlay bet, and you can only find them on FanDuel. There are so many NBA market options. I like to combine a player point total, somebody to get maybe over-under for rebounds, and the money line as well to make a much bigger payout just for one game. If you haven't tried FanDuel Sportsbook yet, new users, you're going to get a risk-free bet up to $1,000. Just place a bet and FanDuel will refund you up to $1,000 back in site credit if you don't win. And new and existing users get $25 back in site credit each day if your parlay falls one leg short. So just download the FanDuel Sportsbook app, use my promo code WILL104 to get started. Must be 21 or older and present in Tennessee. Refund issued is non-withdrawable site credit that expires in 7 days. Max refund $25. Terms apply. See sportsbook.fanduel.com for details. For problem gambling support, call 1-800-889-9789.
Genesis Diamond's first spring sale in 2 years is here this weekend, and they're holding nothing back. Save up to 35% store-wide. Rings, earrings, bands, bracelets, all on sale. Last year's spring extravaganza was canceled, so they're doubling up this year with bigger discounts and expanded selection. Aggressive financing. Designers are here with their entire collections all on sale. Even certified diamond engagement rings are on sale, so don't miss this. Genesis store-wide spring extravaganza, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Green Hills and Cool Springs.
The signs of spring are all around us. Warmer weather, flowers blooming, and mosquitoes. Luckily, you can take back your yard with Arrow Exterminators and their mosquito control service. The experts at Arrow protect homes using the most environmentally friendly methods available so that you can enjoy your yard all spring and summer long. Fight the mosquito bites and schedule your free home or business pest inspection today. Call 888-GO-ARROW or visit arrowexterminators.com. That's 888-GO-ARROW or arrowexterminators.com. Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
Identity thieves love tax forms with personal info needed to steal your identity. That's why LifeLock helps protect, monitor, and restore your identity. No one can monitor all transactions at all businesses, but you can save up to 25% off your first year at LifeLock.com. Promo code RISK.
Is your company hiring? We can help. Invest in your workforce at tnjobfair.com.
This is for the men who never settle, the ones who believe only quitters end a game in a tie, the type of guys who choose the bar with the biggest TVs to overcompensate for theirs at home. This is the Lodge mentality. This is Twin Peaks.
From the 104.5 The Zone Traffic Center.
Antioch, 24 westbound before Hickory Hollow Parkway. Right lane is closed for an accident investigation. Use caution. Watch for police on the scene. No problems coming in on 65 or 40. No unusual delays on 440. This report brought to you by Jiffy Lube. At Jiffy Lube Multicare, their job is to keep your vehicle running right by changing old parts for new to help avoid costly repair bills down the road. They fix the small stuff before it becomes big stuff. And Jiffy Lube proudly features Pennzoil. Not just oil, Pennzoil. I'm Christy O'Brien with traffic on your home for Titans football. 104.5 The Zone.
No, it's not Les Grossman. It's Mike Keith and Ramon Foster. JMart and Ramon on 104.5 The Zone. This is your flagship station for Titans Radio. You know, we don't say Titans Radio Network. You know that, right?
Yeah, I know that.
We don't say Titan, yeah. Because when we started back in the 90s, there was this thing called pirate radio.
Pirate radio.
Pirate radio. And Larry Stone and I both like that. And so to differentiate ourselves, we kind of swiped it and made it Titans Radio. And so we still have that to this day, nearly a quarter century later.
You know what?
Ripping off the best in the business. Yes, we are Titans Radio.
If it works, it works.
Well, we were trying to differentiate because there was the Vol Radio Network.
Yeah, well,
the Commodore Radio Network. There were all these
networks.
Well, they called themselves that.
Yeah,
Titans Radio.
Titans Radio. I like.
Yes.
I like
well,
Titans Radio.
It's served us pretty well so far.
Of course.
All right, JMart and Ramon. I'm Mike Keith, sitting in for Jason Martin. And so we were talking in the last segment about where we are in this draft and the evaluations, and that Trey Lance has a workout. The North Dakota State quarterback's workout has been scripted by the San Francisco 49ers, who have the third pick and could select him.
Of course, yeah.
The unquestioned number one pick in the draft is Trevor Lawrence, 21-year-old Trevor Lawrence, who just a few days ago got married.
Yes.
His high school sweetheart, Marissa. And this is a young man, again, just 21 years old, much like a situation that you find with Matthew Stafford, who's been in the league since, I think, Otto Graham played, and he's still just 33 because he got to Georgia early and then he got to the NFL early. This is a player in Trevor Lawrence who has a chance to, he can play 20 years and still just be 40 years old.
Crazy.
It is crazy.
Crazy, man.
Go ahead.
But that's one thing that coaches do love, though, too. It's the 20-year-olds.
Love the young guys.
Because if you except for last year.
Okay? Well, you love the young guys. Yeah, when it's funny because when I started covering college football, everybody redshirted.
Yeah.
So every pro prospect was 23 years old.
This guy.
Yeah,
right. This 22, 23 years old. Yes, 100%.
And now they're 20. Some of them are barely 20.
You know, as we go into, we're getting into these Trevor Lawrence comments, but, of course, there's a lot to unpack with how the game has changed. You talk about being redshirted. It was almost like automatic. That you were going to be redshirted. Only I came in 2004 to University of Tennessee. Majority of our class redshirted. Gerard Mahill didn't. It's clear to see. He didn't. Inky didn't. No. Inky did that year because he was small coming out. But majority of our class, a guy, Chris Brown, didn't. It was just guys that was ready to play at a position. Chris Brown came in as a tight end. He was playing the H-back, ready to go. Gerard, dynamic, okay? You knew he was going to be a guy just from the day he walked on campus. Smart. You knew he was intellectual. You knew he was an athlete, all of those things. It was a bunch of guys that redshirted that went on to play in the NFL too. But the two quarterbacks, Eric Ainge, Brent Schaefer, did not redshirt. Okay, it was just interesting to watch the change of we got to get these kids to a position where they're physically ready to play football. And now it's like a bunch of kids are already at that point. Now, you mentioned like the redshirt aspect of it. Like Devin, a guy that I play with, Devin Bush, he did not redshirt. If you look at him, he looks like an undersized linebacker that played for the team I play for in Pittsburgh. And now it's to a point to where he was just ready to make it into the NFL. There's a bunch of guys that you'd rather get them in and get them out as quick as you can because their talent supersedes everything else around them. And that's, again, what I'm sure John Robinson and the front office thought about this guy, Isaiah, or at least to a point, if we get him around a bunch of adults, we put him in a system, in a room, in an environment that says, hey, look, do as these guys are doing because they're adults already. They know how to handle the ins and outs of the business. You're going to flourish a whole lot faster. That's the concept of drafting 20-year-olds, as you said. It's the fact that if you get them in, they're smart enough, and the talent shows itself, you got them for, as you said, 20 years. And in 20 years, you're just 40.
Yeah, I mean, that's the whole thing.
Tom is 21 years in. He was 46, 47.
Tom is almost 44.
44. I was giving him way more
You're
years.
giving him way more
there.
credit.
It looked like he's been around that long.
But Trevor Lawrence, married guy.
Yeah.
Fully formed guy who's played a ton of football. Cartersville, Georgia, was a prodigy. At 15, you knew that he was going to be special. Goes to Clemson, wins the starting job 4 games into the season, beats out an established guy. Yeah. And that's one thing that you have to give Dabo Swinney credit for is 4 games into that season, he said, I know he's not in the pecking order, but he's better. We have to play him. And so he's been the starter at Clemson ever since. 3 college football playoffs, 3 ACC championships, a national championship. I mean, he's been on the stage and played fantastic competition.
Yes.
Going to be the number 1 pick in the draft. Mentioned he's already a married guy.
Yeah.
Does an interview with Michael Rosenberg from Sports Illustrated. And Trevor Lawrence is very comfortable with who he is and is a very religious young man, very devout in his beliefs, very, like I said,
low tone, reassuring type of guy.
Not a guy who doesn't seem to care, just a guy who is very confident in who he is and not bothered. So he makes these comments, and I'm just going to pull a few of them, and they're admittedly out of context, but this is how some people have heard them. It's not like I need this, meaning football, for my life to be okay. It's not like I need this for my life to be okay. I don't have a huge chip on my shoulder.
It was that part, yeah.
And then the final one, and again, these are being pulled out of context.
Of course, yeah.
And we'll certainly take your comments on what you hear at 615-737-1045. There's more in life than playing football. All right, so I'm just going to read these again.
One more time, yeah.
It's not like I need this for my life to be okay. I don't have a huge chip on my shoulder. There's more in life than playing football. So as you read the article, and as you have seen the reaction, Ramon, from different pundits everywhere, former players, analysts, people talking from team perspectives, knowing the sensitivity of the position, knowing that Jacksonville has gone all in on hiring a coach, promoting a general manager, everything they've done with this guy in mind. What does Ramon Foster, former NFL player, hear?
So it's a lot. And I've kind of been my thoughts have been muddied a little bit because I've heard different people's perspective on what he's saying. But initially, before I got understanding from him, because as you said, you alluded to was this. It was pulling out of context. We took excerpts from his interview and used it against him to get us more clicks, is what this paper did or what everybody is doing. Initially, my thought was this, and I wrote it down. Doesn't need money, meaning he doesn't care about that, and he's comfortable with where he's at. The chip on the shoulder aspect was, well, he's not competitive. Why are we going to draft him number 1 overall if he's okay with losing is what it sounded like. And what was the last the last one was?
There's more in life than playing football.
He's going to have other interests like surfing. He's going to want to do other things other than just be a football player because we all have the belief as fans of the game, watchers of the game, former player, that you got to sell out to be successful, okay? To be a NFL quarterback. You are the head of the franchise. Yes, it's the owners, but at the end of the day, who's your quarterback? That's what they want to know. Those were the 3 things I took from him. Doesn't need the money. Of course, that's what everybody ties the NFL to. It's like he doesn't need it to be successful. I was like, okay. He's not competitive. The chip on the shoulder, I just wrote an article, okay? And I talked about being undrafted and what that chip on my shoulder meant because there's the underlying fire in me to be successful. Him, he doesn't need that way. But when you step back, Mike, and you look at what he's been for a long time, where he's been, meaning the university, He's been number 1 since he came out of high school, or at least top 10 since he came out of high school. Number 1 at Clemson since he started. Kelly Bryant, I just read an article on him over this past weekend, and he's a guy that was slated to go in and be the national championship winner.
He was it.
And had won, what was it? He was 10-2. What was his record?
He had been successful,
he
yes.
was successful. Yes. And he knocked off Kelly Bryant. Now, here is Kelly Bryant. And there was an article that said, where's Kelly Bryant? It's not like this guy is 35, 40, 50 years old. No, this guy is still in his 20s. But where is he? Well, Trevor Lawrence is where he's at. He booted him. Now he's the quarterback for the Toronto Argonauts.
Argonauts, yeah.
He's the quarterback of the Argonauts, okay? So he successfully moved in and got a starting position as a young guy. Truth be told, he's probably been the number 1 draft pick ever since they saw the first game.
So I was told by an NFL person at the end of Trevor Lawrence's true freshman year that had he come out in 2019, he would have been the number 1 pick.
Exactly. So he has that going for him. And he also played well, won a national championship. And when you saw him play, you knew he was good. When he wasn't playing, yes, the young guy, how do you say it? Ugalangale?
I'm going to, Ugalangale, I think is how you say it. Well done.
Thank you, man.
Yes.
You know, as Buck Rising texted me talking about how I messed up
Buck.
the UFC.
Ugalangale.
Yeah, Ugalangale. There we go.
Yes.
Buck, that one's for you right there. Just
Ugalangale
so you know.
to you, Buck.
But when Trevor wasn't in, they didn't win. You know, they won, but not the way they were supposed to. The offense wasn't as efficient. And yes, I know they got to, switch the offenses from one quarterback to another. But when Trevor Lawrence is out there, you have a really good shot at winning. It's just like with the Titans with Tannehill. When he's in that lineup now, and of course the supporting cast around him, but Mike Keith, the phase in which Ryan Tannehill is at right now, you feel more confident with him walking inside that stadium than any other quarterback in recent history.
We can win any game we play.
Yes.
Because of the quarterback play of Ryan Tannehill at this moment. We walked into Green Bay in December in the snow.
Yep.
Had a lousy night.
Mm-hmm.
Had a bad night. Did I think we could win the game that night? Yes. Because we had a quarterback. Have there been other times I have walked into stadiums like that and thought we could win?
Ooh.
No.
Not like this.
Not because when you have a quarterback, when you have Ben Roethlisberger, when you have Peyton Manning, when you have Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers, you can name them. And at the level that Tannehill is playing at this point, 33 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. I mean, since he became the Titans quarterback, 55 touchdowns, 13 interceptions.
Yeah.
And he can run.
And that's what I'm saying. So on the other side of this, the point I'm getting to is this. Trevor Lawrence, if you have him, you walk in there with at least saying, look, he's got 8 games by himself. Well, nowadays, he's got to have 9. That's what you think of him as he continues on in his career, because he's the type of guy, he's been that way since he's got at Clemson. When they walk in, they were like, we got Trevor Lawrence. Like, yeah, we got all these 5 stars, but we have Trevor Lawrence. So when you live that life, you can kind of make these type of comments, man. And it sucks because if somebody else says it, it may come way more disrespectful. It might knock them down a few rounds.
All right, well, let me throw it at you 2 ways.
Okay,
so I'm going to play it as normal person listening to 104.5 The Zone right now.
Oh, this is beautiful.
Man, woman, child, person going to school, whomever.
Yeah.
You hear, it's not like I need this for my life to be okay. Well, that's true. Football's not everything.
No, it's not.
There is more to – I'm
here right now.
Right. But I'm saying if you're listening right now, you're thinking, well, that's right. I don't have this huge chip on my shoulder. Why would he? He's been successful his whole life. He wasn't drafted number 199. He wasn't undrafted like Ramon Foster. I mean, he's a prodigy.
Yes.
He is a prodigy. Why would he have a chip on his shoulder? Makes total sense. And there's more in life than playing football. There sure is. And we see this with our former players. I love Kevin Dyson, 23 years ago yesterday, the Titans drafted him number 1.
Wow.
Had Kevin Dyson not gotten hurt in a fluke practice injury, I mean, he certainly had a good NFL career. I think he would have had a great NFL career. But he is one of the best human beings that I know.
Yeah.
I'm proud to call him a friend. What he's doing in his life right now is incredibly important. Eddie George and what he's going to do at TSU. I can go down the line of our former guys like you and your former teammates. You know what I'm talking about.
100%.
There is more in life than playing football. All right, now wait a minute.
Okay,
now,
this is good. Okay.
Okay, so that's normal person hearing these comments.
Yeah.
Again, the comments totally taken out of context. If you read the whole story, you don't have an adverse reaction. I promise you. Now, if you're football guy, or football girl, football person, if you're somebody who believes what Tom Brady said about you have to basically give up an organ in your body, be willing to if you're going to be successful. If you say Peyton Manning would have never said this, and he wouldn't have, ever.
Right.
Okay. It's not like I need this for my life to be okay. That's the guy you want in charge of your franchise? I don't have this huge chip on my shoulder. What are you going to do when it's the fourth quarter in Pittsburgh and they're screaming at you and you've got to take a team 80 yards? You want a guy who says that?
Yeah.
There's more in life than playing football. Well, you're getting ready to make about $50 million up front, and if it goes well, you'll make 5 times that, and you'll make that money off the field as well. And you're telling me there's more than life in playing football? All right, so the two sides.
Yep.
All right, it's like the devil and the angel on the shoulders, like in the movies, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when you hear it, does the devil who's saying all the football things outweigh the angel who's saying all the things of the normal person to Ramon Foster?
Does he outweigh it? No.
But he's a quarterback, Ramon.
Let me tell you why. We at all times ask guys to be more, do more. From social injustice to everyday camps that guys do for kids to community service, from life skills. Walter Payton Man of the Year.
Right.
Okay? You have J.J. Watt raised, was it $50 million?
Sure did.
Okay? Was that situation bigger than football?
Sure was.
Yes, it was. Okay? You have guys here that donate to communities. There's turkey drives. There's holiday drives. There's so many other things other than football. Okay? And a lot of those guys might feel the exact same way. When you realize that this is a game, okay? And yes, if I walk out, when I cross those lines, there is a switch. Okay, there is a switch. And I think that's what Trevor Lawrence is saying.
Right.
And he did come back in and back up his comments.
He did.
He came back and backed up his comments because, of course, the backlash behind it. You want a guy like this that says, hey, look, it's more internal for me than it is actually for me to prove something to you. Because, again, as I was reading off earlier, I was talking about earlier his accomplishments. He's been number one coming out of high school. Number one since he started. You said a scout told you that at the end of his freshman year, had he come out,
he'd been the number one
overall pick.
Sure would.
Okay? So it may be more of this. And I'm just speaking about the sports psychology of guys, okay? Because I do this. You'll see guys talking to himself. Kumar Rocker this past weekend. He's pitching. I'm watching Tennessee versus Vandy series, okay? Friday night he pitches. And I see him just talking, mumbling stuff to himself.
Sure.
And guess what? He's psyching himself out. I don't know what the Tennessee guy said to him or whether it was the crowd or what. But here he is, a guy that we know is probably going to be at the lowest, number 2 in the MLB draft.
He's okay.
At the lowest, okay? And here's a guy talking to himself about a pitch, about trying to punch himself out of the inning, okay? And you think, okay, is he crazy or what's going on? No. He's playing the sports psychology part of the game. And you know, like I know, guys can have all the physical tools in the world, but it's the mental that gets you. Trevor Lawrence has been number 1 all of his life at this game of football at the quarterback position. And we've talked about him for the last 2-3 years, and now they're talking about everybody else. So for a guy like him, and I look at the more mental side of the game more than anything. If I study you, I'm trying to see your body language. So a guy like him, he's probably downplaying this so that he does succeed.
So
I recognize that.
So we're going to take calls. We're going to talk about this further. We're certainly going to
got
talk.
me going right
we're
now.
certainly going to talk about this with Dave McGinnis. 615-737-1045. Dave McGinnis on at 8:20 this morning. Brought to you by Farm Bureau Health Plans. We look forward to having him on. Also, Brad Sham, the voice of the Dallas Cowboys. As we are going to focus on some teams that are going to turn the first round. Dallas has the 10th pick, and is Jerry Jones ready to do something crazy for Kyle Pitts? But when we come back, is Ramon Foster going to go crazy over the Trevor Lawrence furor, or is it false? Brought to you by All Four Seasons Garage Doors on 104.5 The Zone. This is JMart and Ramon.
Want more fun from JMart and Ramon? Yes, that also means the pettiness. Hang out with Jason and Ramon whenever you want. Subscribe to JMart and Ramon wherever you get your podcasts.
It's JMart Mortgage Investors Group. I've been telling you about them for months, and it's because I know how difficult it can be when you start thinking about that first dream home. Well, MIG, I just trust these guys so very much because of the way they do business. And maybe the best thing that they offer is the home court advantage. It's going to allow you to get into that dream home that you want with less money out of your pocket. You're going to be provided with an exclusive 15-year fixed-rate second mortgage of $7,500, which is going to help you in so very many ways. Listen, it's going to cover your down payment. It's going to help on that. It's going to help with your closing costs. It's going to help with your prepaids. And in some cases, it can even help you with a portion of your insurance costs. Not just for first-time home buyers. They're so good if you are a first-time home buyer, but move-up buyers may also be eligible. I want you to go learn more about the Home Court Advantage program at migonline.com. Equal housing lender, license number 109111.
Genesis Diamond's first spring sale in 2 years is here this weekend, and they're holding nothing back. Save up to 35% store-wide. Rings, earrings, bands, bracelets, all on sale. Last year's spring extravaganza was canceled, so they're doubling up this year with bigger discounts and expanded selection. Aggressive financing. Designers are here with their entire collections all on sale. Even certified diamond engagement rings are on sale, so don't miss this. Genesis store-wide spring extravaganza Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Green Hills and Cool Springs.
Genesis Diamond's spectacular spring extravaganza is here this weekend. 3 days of phenomenal savings store-wide. You save up to 35% off Genesis already guaranteed best prices. Rings, pendants, earrings, bracelets, bands, and more. Plus special financing. This event was canceled last year, so we're making it bigger than ever this year with twice the selection and double the savings. Get sale prices on all new designer jewelry and GIA certified diamonds this Friday through Sunday only, and only at Genesis Diamond, Green Hills and Cool Springs. On approved credit.
Hey folks, this is Paul Winkler. When you've been doing a radio show on investing for over 20 years on Nashville airwaves, like I have, you hear all kinds of bad information. Something I'm hearing more about these days are services promising to help people protect against market downturns and get back in before upturns. This sells well because everyone would want that. The problem is there's no evidence anyone can do it. And if they could, why would they tell you? Here's what I've seen. They sell stocks after they've gone down, locking in losses. Then they get back in when all the news is good. Problem is, stocks are usually up by that time. Sell low, buy high. Probably not a good idea. If your investment strategy requires a future prediction, you're already hoping for the impossible. The good news is you don't have to be able to predict the future to be a successful investor. To find out more about our approach, go to our website at paulwinkler.com. You can set up a 15-minute free phone call right there, or set up a free initial consultation, your choice. The website, paulwinkler.com.
What's holding you back from solving your tax problems? If it's cost, know that the longer you wait, the more expensive it'll be. Hi, this is Lance Drury with the Lance Drury Law Firm in Nashville. Tax resolution doesn't have to be expensive, and waiting year after year to resolve your tax problems can be extremely costly. Interest and penalties on your tax bill won't stop until you take control. So take the first step now and hire a tax resolution attorney to help you. Call me, Lance Drury. I'll tell you in advance an affordable fee which includes costs and expenses that works for your business and family. Your first visit to the Lance Drury Law Firm is free and confidential, so you have nothing to lose. But the longer you wait, the more interest and penalties you'll pay. Call me today. Remember, if you have IRS issues, you have legal issues. You need an attorney. You need us, the Lance Drury Law Firm. Call me, Lance Drury, at 615-733-8168 or go to LanceDruryLaw.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
A reading from the Golden Oak Lending Book of Mortgage Lingo.
What is a cash-out refi? It's using the equity in your home to pay off high-interest credit cards. Paid it off! Yes! I'm James Hawkins, president of Golden Oak Lending. With mortgage rates at a record low 1.875%, you can save hundreds each month and skip your next two payments. You'll pay nothing out of pocket, and we never charge for a home appraisal if we can't close your loan. And remember, our local lending experts speak mortgage and love translating for our customers. Eliminating debt means putting your dreams back on the table today.
Updated bathroom?
Updated bathroom and a pool table?
Don't push it, Rick.
Get started with our fast and easy zipline tool at goldenoaklending.com.
NMLS 114937, 1.875% fixed, 2.913% APR, FHA 15-year mortgage with 20% equity and approved credit.
Hey, this is Liz Allison with Off the Track. Join us Tuesday nights at 8 p.m. for the latest in NASCAR news and get up close and personal with your favorite drivers, past and present. Off the Track, fueled by State Water Heaters, Tuesday nights at 8 p.m. on 104.5 The Zone.
Identity thieves love tax forms with personal info needed to steal your identity. That's why LifeLock helps protect, monitor, and restore your identity. No one can monitor all transactions at all businesses, but you can save up to 25% off your first year at LifeLock.com. Promo code RISK.
From the 104.5 The Zone Traffic Center.
Antioch, 24 westbound before Hickory Hollow Parkway. We've got the right lane closed for an accident investigation. Use caution. Watch for stop-and-go traffic from Waldron Road. Haywood Lane, west of Antioch Pike, we've got a vehicle fire. And Rutherford Medical Center Parkway at 24, there's a disabled vehicle partially blocking the off-ramp. No problems coming in on 65 or 40. No unusual delays on 440. I'm Christy O'Brien with traffic on your home for Titans football. 104.5 The Zone.
615-737-1045, JMart and Ramon on a Monday morning. Glad to have you with us. Mike Keith sitting in for Jason Martin. Our program presented by All Four Seasons Garage Doors. When trust matters, you can count on All Four Seasons Garage Doors in Nashville. Professional garage door installation and repair from a family-owned and operated business. Visit allfourseasonsgaragedoors.com/Nashville to learn more. John in Franklin, leadoff caller in this segment of the program. John, good morning and welcome to 104.5 The Zone.
Morning, guys. So first off, Mike, I just wanted to let you know that I heard your voice on a British radio station the other day. They were doing their sports package, talking about the upcoming NFL season and everything. And in their package, they've got you hollering out "Touchdown Titans." I thought that was pretty cool.
Wow, thanks for sharing that.
Yeah, you've gone international, Mike. What can we say? So I was talking to a fraternity brother of mine from college. His dad's a scout for a team that is not in the AFC South. And he was saying that his dad told him Trevor Lawrence could come out today and say, "I'm only going to play my rookie contract and then retire," and they would still take him number 1 overall. He can get away with saying anything because he's that good. And I wish other players had the same capability, the same luck that they could get away with saying how they really feel, but they don't have that luxury.
It's thank you, Mike. It's that part. A lot of guys I gave you a great example of a guy that acted just like Trevor Lawrence. And when I say he's a Hall of Famer now, Troy Polamalu. He just didn't say it, but that's how Troy walked. Very faith-based.
Yes.
Very family-oriented.
Yes.
Loved the game.
Yes.
Didn't need it to prove himself, but the competitive passion that he showed was on the field. That's the thing about these comments, too. We got to separate him from what he said and what he does. On that field, like I told you before, we've seen Trevor Lawrence go, 50, 60 yards on a run. And the other quarterback is sliding. We've seen him take hits, and I'm sure you as a fan also have been like, ooh, don't take that hit. You know what I'm saying?
Well, the Sean Wade hit in the semifinal game where he took. My belief is that if you put this in context, and don't just pull out the comments, it's a very different story based on what we have seen from him on the field.
Yep.
The questions, though, Louis Riddick raising the questions, others raising the questions, is this is a quarterback.
Yep.
And do people want to hear this from a quarterback? I respect your view on Troy Polamalu.
Yeah.
And Troy Polamalu was a pain in the Titans' rear end, and I'm so glad he's gone. I hope he's well. I hope life is good. I hope Head and Shoulders is working out for him.
In the hall.
And he deserves it. Yeah. I would have come cut his grass had he retired a year earlier just to get rid of him.
Yeah.
But, Ramon.
Yeah.
He was not a quarterback.
That's true, too.
He was not a number 1 pick overall.
Yeah.
He was not a guy you're going to put your franchise on. And so the question that has been asked is, because he occupies those positions does it give a team pause? Now, what John is saying is wonderful context because he obviously has somebody that he's close to who is in NFL circles. That is wonderful context about, he could say that he's going to do whatever and they would still take him number one.
100%. And that's the thing. That's the talent. Again, we have a lot of storylines this time of the year. And true enough, like you said, he's the quarterback. The quarterback, number one overall, is supposed to last how long? How long did Stafford last? 12?
Well, Matthew Stafford is, still going, and he's in Los Angeles now. They just traded their quarterback and a nice bounty of draft picks to get him at age 33.
So it is an important position.
Sure it is.
If we were supposed to, we got one more caller we got to get to. If we were to name the importance of an NFL organization, a lot of people will say the owners, of course, right?
Right.
But we know that when it comes to moving the franchise, it's usually the quarterback.
I would say you could make the case, not in every situation.
Of course.
But the quarterback would be right behind the coach, general manager, the one of those who's stronger.
Yep.
Because for some teams, it's the GM and the coach is a little more interchangeable.
Very much so.
And for some teams, the coach is the strength.
Yep.
The quarterback's number 3, certainly no lower than number 4.
Exactly. So
owners won.
Owners won.
Make no mistake about that.
As far as the public perception of what's moving the organization, look at everybody speak about Dallas. Like everybody know Jerry's the guy.
Always.
But Dak was the one that moved the needle when it comes to these wins and losses and saying, hey, the Dallas Cowboys are still what they're supposed to be, which we'll talk to
Brad Sham.
Yes, exactly.
The voice of the Dallas Cowboys.
Beautiful.
In the 9 o'clock hour.
Mm-hmm.
Kenny the mailman is who we're going to talk to now at 615-737-1045.
Morning, Kenny.
Welcome to JMart and Ramon. Go right ahead.
Mike, I've been waiting to talk to you, sir.
How are you, Kenny?
I am a huge radio guy. A lot of times I don't even.
You're a legend, Kenny. Let's face it. You're a legend. We all know you're a legend.
Well, there's times I don't even watch on TV because I love radio so much. I'll listen to the broadcast on radio. But I didn't know till about a month ago until I heard Coach Dave speak what y'all had to go through to be one of only 2 the group that covered all of the games for their team. And I just from my heart wanted to thank you for that.
Thanks,
and
Kenny.
Coach Dave said a big part of that was having a lead announcer that rolled his sleeves up and would help drive people around, help unload equipment, even make hotel reservations and food reservations. And I want to tell you, I am so impressed with that because nobody knew that. Nobody made you do that. And this is an era where a lot of people want doors held for them, people driving them around. And for you to serve in that capacity to help us enjoy the radio, I think, first of all, people ought to know it. And we ought to, from our heart, just say thank you. And that's from me, and y'all have a great day.
That's beautiful.
Thanks, Kenny.
Thanks, Kenny.
Well, it's an honor to serve you.
And
that's what we know is for those of us who are involved with Titans Radio, we love it. And we understand that we're there for the audience because in certain cases, listen, if you can watch the game on TV, I don't blame you.
Right.
I understand. But at the same time, if you're picking the kids up at ball practice.
Or coming back from a baseball tournament
or cutting your grass.
Yeah.
Or you're out on a boat. We're there for you, and we're appreciative of the opportunity to serve you in that way. So thank you for the kind comments. Very quickly, sir.
As we segue into this next hour, somebody on Twitter, cousin Sam Roosevelt, at the Academy Post 4, said this about Trevor Lawrence when it comes down to questioning him. He says this, not necessarily a Lawrence fan, but remember, he led the push for college football to be played this year.
He sure did. Led the charge.
Well, again, say what you want to.
Again, context.
Yes.
Context is vital. It's vital when considering the Rosenberg article.
Yeah.
It's vital when you're considering things such as that.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's vital when you consider that the young man is very religious and lives it and walks it. Context is important.
Yeah. We've gotten both sides.
And that's the idea. And we will continue. JMart and Ramon on 104.5 The Zone.
When the Titans make draft picks, we got you covered.
We can already see what's getting ready to happen.
April is NFL Draft Month on 104.5 The Zone.
This is Boomer Esiason with the CBS Sports Minute, sponsored by AutoZone. Get in the zone, AutoZone. Last night, the world's most prestigious soccer clubs announced the formation of a breakaway entity creatively named the Super League. We're not talking about startups, wannabes, or schleppers here, folks. We're talking Real Madrid and Barcelona, Manchester United and Liverpool, Juventus and AC Milan. We're talking Lionel Messi and Cristiano Ronaldo. This new closed league will resemble the NFL and NBA in concept. It will also strip the Champions League of its most successful and lucrative clubs. As expected, UEFA, the European soccer governing body, and FIFA, the World Soccer Organization, have rushed to denounce this breakaway entity. And when they're against something, I know that, as with the IOC and NCAA, I should be for it. These fireworks remind me of the old AFL NFL wars. I'm Boomer Esiason.
CBS Sports Radio. Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Your car in need of a cleaning? We've got you covered. We have all the wash and wax products you're looking for, from interior to exterior cleaners. They'll help you freshen up your ride inside and out, while keeping it protected from dirt and grime that can damage your car. And you can get everything you need even faster. Just order online at AutoZone.com and choose free same-day store pickup. Getting your job done just got easier. Restrictions apply.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
For the ones finding new ways to ensure the job always gets done. For the ones wearing many hats. For the ones who are hands-on, even from far away. And the ones keeping business moving forward. We are Grainger, offering supplies and solutions for every industry, with 24/7 support and experienced staff at over 250 local branches. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Hey, it's JMart. If you have a wet basement or crawl space, it's time to call United Structural Systems. We've all heard about these guys for a long time, and for good reason. They've served Middle Tennessee for over 25 years, and they've helped over 19,000 satisfied residential customers. They are the go-to company when it comes to foundation repair and waterproofing. So if you have a wet basement or a nasty crawl space, you don't have to put up with that. Water intrusion and moisture could give you all sorts of problems down the road, and you want to get this fixed. Now, it could be because you have poor drainage, or surface water flooding over the walls, or underwater pressure forcing water into the basement. Could be a plumbing leak. You don't know, but the team at United Structural Systems will find out why you have a wet basement or crawl space and will give you a plan to fix it. If you decide to move forward, you don't pay a dime until the work is done and you are satisfied. So call for that free estimate from the people I trust. Go to USSTN.com. That's USSTN.com, or call 615-227-2275. United Structural Systems.
Mike Keith here. The Gary Ashton team is known for saying don't sell without the intel. That's because they have the best database of properties in Nashville. But it's also because nobody knows this community better. The Gary Ashton team with RE/MAX Advantage knows the people, the neighborhoods, and the spirit of Nashville. That's why Gary's team can get you a guaranteed offer on your home that's also 100% guaranteed Nashville. Guaranteed offer means you could sell your home for top dollar with no cleanings or showings and give yourself up to 90 days to close, so there's plenty of time to find your next home. Guaranteed Nashville means Gary's team lives here and loves it here. They've served Nashville for over 20 years, and they're passionate about helping their neighbors and friends. If you're thinking about a guaranteed offer, get the only one that's also guaranteed Nashville. To request a no-obligation offer, call 615-301-1650 or go to GaryAshton.com today. The Gary Ashton team with RE/MAX Advantage. Don't sell without the intel.
What do you think of when you hear the word security? For some, it's job security or health security or even political security. But there's one security that most everyone thinks about: personal security. I'm Shooter Stein, president of NCA, National Certified Alarms. I think most would agree there are more security warnings and incidents than ever before, whether it's announcements in airports, warnings on food labels, pop-ups on the internet, or suspicious-looking strangers. At NCA, we've been offering security to Middle Tennessee since 1997. Landline security alarm monitoring starts at just $9.95 a month, and cellular monitoring starts at $19.95 a month. Don't pay $30 or more for the same service when you can save 50% or more. And you know what people really like? We have no long-term contracts like the other guys, just month to month. Let NCA convert your existing system or install a new one for you. Call us today at 615-777-7NCA. That's 615-777-7622. Or go online at nca.cc. License number 645.
TwinSpire Sportsbook is live in Tennessee, and they're coming out of the starting gates with their best offer yet for new players. With 1 week of risk-free bets up to $1,000. TwinSpires is backed by the same team as the Kentucky Derby, bringing over 140 years of excitement and wagering experience. Just download the TwinSpires app using promo code FREE1000 to get started. Void where prohibited. For terms and conditions, visit twinspires.com. Must be 21 and up and physically present in Tennessee to bet. See full terms and conditions at twinspires.com. For help with a gambling problem, call or text the Tennessee Red Line, 1-800-889-9789.
Identity thieves love tax forms with personal info needed to steal your identity. That's why LifeLock helps protect, monitor, and restore your identity. No one can monitor all transactions at all businesses, but you can save up to 25% off your first year at LifeLock.com. Promo code RISK.
This is for the men who never settle, the ones who believe only quitters end a game in a tie, the type of guys who choose the bar with the biggest TVs to overcompensate for theirs at home. This is the Lodge mentality. This is Twin Peaks.
From the 104.5 The Zone Traffic Center.
Antioch, 24 westbound before Hickory Hollow Parkway. Right lane is closed for an ongoing accident investigation. Use caution. Watch for stop-and-go traffic from Waldron Road. Rutherford, Medical Center Parkway at 24. Disabled vehicle partially blocks the off-ramp. And Haywood Lane west of Antioch Pike. We've got a vehicle fire. Watch for delays. This report brought to you by Indeed.com. With Indeed, you don't need a storm to catch lightning in a bottle. Find great people fast with hiring tools like Instant Match, which searches millions of resumes in Indeed's database to deliver people whose resumes fit your job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit. I'm Christy O'Brien with traffic on your home for Titans football, 104.5 The Zone.
From the Mark Spain Real Estate Studios, this is your Titans NFL Draft Station. WGFX Gallatin, Nashville. Trending now at 104.5 The Zone.
It is 7:01. Good morning. I'm Jonathan Schaefer. Big win for the Braves last night. Posted a 6th spot in the top of the first inning, hitting 4 home runs in that opening frame to defeat the Chicago Cubs 13-4. Braves improved to 7-9. Other Major League Baseball scores of note: Phillies shut out the Cardinals 2-0. Cleveland defeated Cincinnati 6-3. Speaking of baseball, college variety, Vanderbilt outslugged the Vols 10-4 to take 2 of 3 from the weekend series in Knoxville. Good chance that Vanderbilt moves up to number 1 in the polls. NASCAR, Alex Bowman won at Richmond. In golf, 47-year-old Stuart Sink captured his 3rd RBC Heritage title of his career, winning by 4 strokes, also his 2nd win of the season. And Nashville Predators host Chicago tonight. Puck drop at 7 o'clock. Preds trying to snap a 2-game losing streak. Lost 3 of their last 5 after they had won 13 of 16. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and the Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Do I have everybody's attention now?
Now it's time for Jason Martin and Vol for Life Ramon Foster.
Powered by All Four Seasons Garage Doors.
Together, they are JMart and Ramon on 104.5 The Zone.
If you're just joining us on a Monday morning, it's 7:03. Welcome to JMart and Ramon on 104.5 The Zone. This is obviously not Jason Martin. I don't sound that good. My name is Mike Keith with Ramon Foster, sitting in for Jason Martin, 615-737-1045. If you'd like to hit us up on the Twitter machine, at JMart and Ramon, and you can also watch Zone TV to see what we're doing in studio, Facebook Live, Periscope, YouTube, and Twitch. Presented by All Four Seasons Garage Doors. When trust matters, you can count on All Four Seasons Garage Doors in Nashville. Professional garage door installation and repair from a family-owned and operated business. Visit allfourseasonsgaragedoors.com/Nashville to learn more. Good discussion in our first hour about the Trevor Lawrence Sports Illustrated article. Yeah. People have pulled out comments because Trevor Lawrence was being Trevor Lawrence, which was being completely honest, being who he is.
Being who he is, man.
It's not like I need this for my life to be okay. I don't have this huge chip on my shoulder. There's more in life than playing football. The normal folk say, well, those comments are taken out of context, which they were.
Uh-huh.
But I don't, that's okay. This is the guy I'd like to have marry my daughter. This is the guy that I'd like to have be a friend of my son's.
Yes.
And then some people on the NFL side, some football folks are saying, yeah, I don't know if this is the mindset of a guy to lead a franchise in the fourth quarter of a game in Baltimore to go to the Super Bowl.
Uh-huh.
So there are two sides to the story, and probably the most vocal, Ramon.
Yeah.
Probably the most vocal of all was Louis Riddick, who is a smart guy.
Yeah, I like Louis.
I like Louis Riddick a lot. He's on Monday Night Football.
Yep. He's good.
And he sounded the alarm on these comments. He said, "Hey, if Justin Fields had said this."
Yeah. There's some context to that also.
There is.
That just simply because if we could just get into it, if Justin Fields says it, being a black quarterback, I think that's what Louis Riddick was going to. He'd have been knocked a whole lot harder because of those things.
And Justin Fields is being taken
Broken,
apart
yes.
by a lot of people right now as the draft approaches. And in fairness, if you look at the statistics over the last 2 years of Trevor Lawrence and Justin Fields, very similar.
Yes.
Very similar. And who won the head-to-head game?
It was
Justin Fields.
And I think it goes more into the Justin Fields attack, too, because of the Mac Brown emergence. Like, that's the other part. Is like, why aren't we talking about Mac Jones? Mac Jones. I said Mac Brown.
That's okay.
He's at Carolina
That's
right
right.
now.
Well, we were talking about Texas earlier and off the air, so that's where I know how this works.
We would get into Texas culture, but we'll leave that one alone.
That's for another show.
University of Texas culture, that is. But of the Mac Jones, as we just had the Mike Jones bit here a while ago. But the Mac Jones situation, just because Mac is he's pushed through the roof with his potential when it comes down to teams saying you should pick him, and. But the thing is just this, though, too, is Trevor Lawrence's comments versus, let's say, Justin Fields. Both of them are dynamic.
Mm-hmm.
If there's a 1 and a 2 in the draft, it's these two to me.
In terms of overall talent.
In terms of overall talent. Trey Lance, Zach Wilson.
Zach Wilson.
It's a lot to be questioned when it comes to those two guys when I'm comparing them to Trevor Lawrence and Justin Fields. Okay. They are my 1 and 2 on the draft boards, okay? Whether they pick them or whatever the system and schemes may be, whatever, okay? We'll see what happens 3 years from now. We're saying bust or not bust, okay? So Trevor Lawrence also had to put out another statement when it comes down.
He had to back off of it a little bit and talk about his competitiveness.
And I hate it because the guy told you how he felt.
He did.
And we've seen him compete.
We
saw him get everybody on board with saying, hey, let's play ball. And we'll talk about that influence when it comes down to Tom Brady.
And take over for Kelly Bryant when he was a true freshman and get everybody on board.
And
it was Kelly Bryant's team.
Yes, Mike.
A month into the season, it's Kelly Bryant's team. And the coach, Dabo Swinney, says, we are not going to win anything big like we want to unless we make this change now. And everyone wondered about culture at that moment. Because remember, Kelly Bryant left.
He was awesome.
But he left.
Yes.
He just said, that's enough.
Missouri,
right?
I'm
out. And so at that point, everyone wondered, and the team responded to Trevor Lawrence.
Because he brings people with him.
Yes.
You can be great and not say a whole lot, okay? That's fine, too, all right? This is a guy that you got to say, he's wearing the long hair, okay? He's probably have better hair products than most of the people you know, okay?
Yes.
But he's okay with that.
Yes.
He walks quiet, married in college, married right after college.
Just got married a couple weeks ago.
It's nothing special he did as far as, proposing on his field, but he did this during the pandemic with a camera crew. He's okay with the spotlight.
He is.
He could have did that behind closed doors and got married at a courthouse.
But here's what everybody else says. All the old hats, the grizzled veterans.
I'm listening.
He's a millennial. He's a soft. What's going to happen? Because let me tell you, you've been there.
Yeah, I have.
You've been in the trenches. You've done the real thing. You've had to go 80 yards in the huddle with Ben Roethlisberger in the last minute of a game to have a chance to win a championship. The NFL is man football.
Yes.
There is nothing soft about – we're not playing a game anymore.
No.
This is a sport.
It's
a sport.
And it's a sport that's not built for everybody.
It's not built for everybody. It's not built for people many times. I mean, there's one prospect in the draft this year who is a great pianist.
Yeah.
And which is a fantastic talent.
Love that.
I know.
Okay.
I think it's fantastic. But there are people who analyze this prospect who wonder, does he love music more than football?
Can't you do both?
You can, but hey, but
I know what you mean.
But Ramon, we've seen guys when it gets hard, they say, I don't want to play anymore.
No.
Well, but we've seen it.
But
we've seen guys. I mean, it happens every year. There are dudes who just decide, I don't want to do this anymore, which is pretty inconvenient if you've wasted a lot of money and you've wasted a high draft pick on them. So this one particular player who's not a first-round pick.
Okay.
So I don't think it's going to impact him that much. But the fact of the matter is there will be some teams that will redline him off the board. I promise you. Wow. Because they're sitting here saying, we don't want to get in to when it's hard, and he doesn't want to play anymore like Timmy in the 5th grade.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I mean, I get that.
That's a real thing.
It's okay and it's not okay at the same time because you want these guys to be well-rounded. You want them to I think I've seen guys both love the game.
I get it, but these NFL people who get paid money to do this, whose lives depend on it, they don't care if you're well-rounded. They've got to beat Baltimore on Sunday in Baltimore.
Well, I'll tell you this. In the case of Trevor Lawrence, that's not the case.
No.
That is not the case whatsoever. And again, it's this too. If this is a non-first rounder that you're speaking of,
right,
you want 3-4 years if he was a second or third rounder. And again, I told you again, if it's 4 through 7, it's 2 to 7, and you love for them to develop into long-time guys.
But that's the personnel, folks. The coaches have to have them be able to beat Baltimore in Baltimore on Sunday. And I know this. When you're dealing with that crowd in Baltimore, that's a man crowd.
But this is the thing, though, too, Mike, is the simple fact that at the end of the day, whether you love piano, whether you love skydiving,
right,
when you step on that field and the competitive side hits you, in that moment, you're going to go.
Right.
And we've all been in that moment, and we go. But at the same point in time, in the same aspect, though, if we find out after the game, why'd you quit on this play? Why aren't you hustling to the ball? Then we cut bait then. But most of the guys that I know, if I've been around that have other passions, I've seen guys turn to rappers out of nowhere, okay?
Right.
Out of nowhere.
Right.
But when they cross those lines, though, Mike, that switch is flipped on.
But some guys you worry about the switch. Some guys you do, Ramon.
Have I seen a guy that I can just reel off?
Yes.
Yeah,
you have.
I saw.
I have too.
Recent history. Yeah.
I have too.
But
who didn't understand that it's the real thing. And again, you're not talking about a late first round pick.
Right.
You're not talking about a third day pick. The question about Trevor Lawrence here and what Louis Riddick is raising and what's being raised by some, this is the first overall pick. And Titans fans listening to this are going, boy, I hope he loves
exactly. That's what I was going to say. We talked about it. That's the reason Vrabel and we're
there's somebody driving into work right now going, man, I hope he doesn't like football.
He's into
I hope when he comes to Nissan Stadium. Here's the thing. I think he loves football.
Yeah, and he reaffirmed it too the other day.
I do.
Just a quick comment from him. I know we got callers on the line, right, Shafe? Oh, we need a break. Is that a tease right there?
Talking too much.
Is that a tease?
That's kind of a tease. Well played. You're such a radio man now, Ramon.
You know what? If I just continue to be around you, I'll be all right.
All right. Well, we need to mention that 104.5 The Zone's 2021 draft coverage is sponsored by Farm Bureau Health Plans. Need great health care coverage at an affordable price? Let Farm Bureau Health Plans coach you through it. They've been protecting Tennesseans since 1947. We've got so much more to do. So many more of your calls, 615-737-1045. Your take at Twitter, at JMart and Ramon. Send us that. JMart and Ramon on 104.5 The Zone.
Come on. You know you want to listen to Blaine and Mickey. Come on. Blaine and Mickey, this afternoon, 1 to 3 on 104.5 The Zone.
Hey, it's JMart. Did you know Lee Company is in your community? I usually don't have the time to tell you all the cool things that Lee Company can do for your home, all the important things they can do for your home. And now I'm getting to the point where I barely have the time to tell you about all the locations that Lee Company serves. From Clarksville to Mount Juliet, Murfreesboro to Hendersonville, Nashville to Columbia, and they've now also opened new locations in Bellevue and Chattanooga. So when you're calling Lee Company, you are truly calling someone local and in your community. It's important to Lee Company that they serve all of our communities that we call home. And I'll tell you what, Nobody serves them better than Lee Company. Visit them online right now at leecompany.com to learn about all of their services and locations. If you go to leecompany.com/promotions, you'll find out exactly what you can save on in your home right now. Lee Company, for everything you need in your home. And now, wherever you might live, they're probably there. They've got you. It's Lee Company.
Some things are just true, like your local Geico agent could save you hundreds. And also, 2-year-olds will always ask, why?
It's lunchtime.
Why?
Because you're hungry.
Why?
Because humans need food.
Why?
Because we convert it to energy, blood, and muscle and bone.
Why?
Because I love you.
Your local Geico agent could help you save 15% or more. It's just true.
Every day we encounter non-emergencies. Blocked sidewalks, abandoned cars, noisy neighbors. None are good, but none are true emergencies either. Metro Nashville 911 dispatchers receive over 11,000 non-emergency calls each month that should be going to 311 instead. These calls waste valuable time that could be used saving lives. So the next time you need to report an emergency, make the right call. 911 for real emergencies. 311 for everything that's not.
Gupton Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram not only sells great vehicles, they service them as well. Even if you didn't buy your vehicle at Gupton, you'll love their service department. Factory-trained specialists at Gupton offer competitive pricing on oil changes, batteries, brake services, new tires, tire rotation, and more. They do a multi-point inspection to make sure your vehicle is running smooth. This is Brent from 3HL. Do what I do. Have your vehicle serviced at Gupton. 3450 Tom Austin Highway, just 30 minutes from downtown Nashville. Be sure to say Brent sent you.
A SunTrust checking account lets you stay on top of your money and help it grow. Plant the seeds for your goals with access to financial resources and tools. Keep an eye on your spending, hedging and managing it by setting limits on our mobile app. And rake in cash back on debit card purchases from your favorite retailers with SunTrust deals. With all the right tools, your account can blossom. Open an account today at suntrust.com/checking. Must have online banking to participate in SunTrust deals. SunTrust, now Truist. Member FDIC.
If you're looking for flooring and you absolutely positively have to know you're getting the best price, the choice is clear. At Buy Floors Direct, we buy direct from the factory in massive quantities and sell direct to you from our huge, clean warehouse without retail markups. The decor stores and home centers have expensive retail locations, fancy displays, and middlemen costs, and that means you'll pay more. Come in and see why contractors and designers buy their flooring at a Buy Floors Direct warehouse. These pros are always telling us how our quality floors are priced far lower than the retail stores. Our warehouses are full of tile, hardwood, laminate, waterproof floors, and everything you need to install them, including friendly advice. Go to buyfloorsdirect.com or visit a Buy Floors Direct warehouse because there's no reason to ever pay retail for flooring.
Ascend shares our profits with our members, and 2020 is no exception. After a difficult year for all, we are pleased to announce we're returning more than $4 million. This brings our 16-year total to more than $92 million. Ascend is thrilled to support our members and prove the more you bank, the more you could earn. Go online to ascend.org and explore all the ways you could have earned a gift back from Ascend Federal Credit Union.
Mike Keith here. Most people in Nashville know Gary Ashton as the don't sell without the intel and guaranteed offer guy. What you probably don't know is that despite his accent, Gary's also 100% guaranteed Nashville. He's a guaranteed musician, a guaranteed dog lover, a guaranteed community leader, and you're guaranteed to see Gary at every Tennessee Titans game. Guaranteed offer means you can sell your house for top dollar with no cleanings or showings and give yourself up to 90 days to close. So there's plenty of time to find your next home. Guaranteed Nashville means Gary's team lives here and loves it here. They've served Nashville for over 20 years and they're passionate about helping our community. If you're thinking about a guaranteed offer, get the only one that's guaranteed Nashville from the Gary Ashton team with RE/MAX Advantage. To request a no obligation offer, call 615-301-1650 or go to GaryAshton.com today. Remember, Gary Ashton, guaranteed Nashville.
What's going on? It's Will Bowling reminding you that Tuesday nights are soccer nights on 104.5 The Zone. You can catch the Nashville Soccer Show with me and Davey Shepard talking NSC, MLS, and much more Tuesday nights, 9 o'clock, right here on 104.5 The Zone.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
Hey, this is Liz Allison with Off the Track. Join us Tuesday nights at 8 p.m. for the latest in NASCAR news and get up close and personal with your favorite drivers, past and present. Off the Track, fueled by State Water Heaters, Tuesday nights at 8 p.m. on 104.5 The Zone.
From the 104.5 The Zone Traffic Center.
Delays continue on 24 Antioch westbound before Hickory Hollow Parkway. Right lane remains closed for an accident investigation. We've got stop-and-go traffic from San Ridley Parkway. Packard Drive west of Colmont Place. We've got a crash being cleared. Dickerson Pike, watch for an accident north of Hunter's Lane. 31st Avenue south of West End Avenue. There's a crash with emergency crews on the scene. Also an accident clearing 19th Avenue north at State Street. I'm Christy O'Brien with traffic on your home for Titans football. 104.5 The Zone.
Oh, a little Eric Clapton on a Monday morning. Glad to have you with us. JMart and Ramon, 615-737-1045 at JMart and Ramon. Billy in Nashville. You're joined by Mike Keith and Ramon Foster. Good morning. Welcome to the program.
Hey, Ramon, can you hear me?
Yeah, I got you. We got you. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for all you did for the University of Tennessee. Let me get that out of the way.
Oh, I thank you
And
because
then-
it's Orange and White weekend this weekend also, by the way.
Indeed. And I wanted to know what you did to get Mike Keith out of bed this early and work with royalty, because usually by now his butler has brought his second mimosa and his eggs Benedict. But I'm guessing you somehow talked him into coming back to Sports Talk. I did that with him 30 years ago.
Oh, my God. His second mimosa? I didn't know he was a mimosa guy, man. Mike is such a gamer, okay? Let me tell you this. I was both nervous and excited for him to be in this morning. So some strings were pulled, and we got him in this morning.
Let me tell you something, Billy. Before you keep this up, there are pictures of you from your internship, friend. And they will be sent to every member of the Channel 4 staff if you keep it up.
He's funded.
Remember who you're working with here, my friend.
This is awesome.
Oh, I don't forget.
Open threats. Let me tell you, he brought in his own coffee and everything this morning.
Open threats. Good
Hey, I'm sitting in the parking lot. I got to get into work. But, Mike, congratulations. You're now, I think, a member of every Sports Hall of Fame that I know of.
Quit it.
And the Tennessee Broadcasters Hall of Fame. Wow. So both of those, right?
Yes. Yes, indeed.
Stop, Billy. Stop.
That is all. You ought to see him. He won't even look at anything right now. I don't know if he's embarrassed, excited, or if he's being
afraid. Ramon, he's afraid of what I'm going to bring up.
I am afraid. Hey, you better get in there and talk to Snowbird, okay?
Oh.
I said it by text to you the other day. Congratulations, Mike.
Thank you, my friend.
Absolutely.
Thank you. And keep up the good work over there. Awful proud of you.
There's not been a more deserving person. I can tell you that. He's an ace guy. He's a good friend. But he's an excellent mentor, too. Ramon, you can learn a lot. I know you're still new at the talk game because you spent so long playing in the NFL. But you can learn a lot. This takes me back. I'm driving into work.
Yeah.
Takes me back 30 years to when I used to work for him in Sports Talk.
Oh, that is awesome. Let me tell you, between him, Rhett Bryant, and Coach Mack, anytime I'm around him, I ask him anything I can because, again, he's just reeling off NFL GMs and head coaches and DCs and OCs, man. He actually sent me a bulletin board of all the NFL GMs and ownership. So that ought to tell you, he's just like, Ramon, freshen up your game a little bit, and we'll get there. So, yeah, I definitely take it all in.
One of the things that John Ward taught him well was prep.
Yeah.
And he preps well. Mike, congratulations. Love you, bud.
Thank you, Billy. Love you too. Yeah,
that's beautiful.
Yeah, he's a good man. He is. He has done very, very well for himself in the television game. That gentleman who just called the program. By the way, we're talking about great stories.
Yeah.
And the story in Sports Illustrated that Michael Rosenberg wrote.
Mm-hmm.
And making sure I wrote that down right because I want to make sure and credit the proper author. It was Michael Rosenberg.
Yeah.
And discussing Trevor Lawrence, does he love the game enough, yada, yada, yada.
Mm-hmm.
Here's what an NFL team wants out of a guy who loves the game, okay? They want Sean Kazmir.
Sean Kazmir?
Yes. So he played for the Atlanta Braves this weekend.
Okay.
got an at-bat against the Cubs. 36 years old, Ramon. He had not appeared in the big leagues since September 23rd, 2008. George W. Bush was still our president. What? Barack Obama was running against John McCain at this point. I didn't even think they'd held the first debate in that. That was nearly 13 years ago. Wow. This guy was in the minor leagues for nearly 13 years between at-bats. The Braves had some injuries. They called him up. Kazmir.
Wow.
That's a guy who loves ball right there.
That is a guy who
13 years in the minor leagues to come back.
Of waiting?
He had played for the Padres in 2008. Khalil Green was their shortstop, got hurt. They called him up. He spent 19 games in the big leagues.
Wow.
Goes back to the minors for nearly 13 years, played Major League Baseball this weekend for the Atlanta Braves.
That is one.
That is a guy who loves ball.
Is a true pro is what that is. I don't know what to call it. What else he got going on instead of waiting 13 years, though?
Well, he's playing AAA.
I mean, but still, there's a big difference between AAA and the majors,
Yeah.
That's a grind.
Yes.
That is a grind to wait it out. Do you keep him up is the next question I got for
he
you.
won't stay up long, no.
Exactly.
But he came back.
But Mike,
that's what you're looking for. When you're talking about the draft.
Okay.
You're talking about that kind of commitment. That is something that if you're putting the checks down.
Yes.
And you got 2 fifth-round picks or 2 third-round picks, somebody who is that committed, that's something that they want to see because you know this, and you're an undrafted.
Yeah.
Life is hard.
It's very hard. And it's a lot of pressure for the first-round guys,
Sure
too.
it is.
That's the thing about them. And that's the reason also teams always give the first-rounder another chance. Is because, one, you know the talent is there.
Right.
And you know that they have something to get them to that point.
Right.
And you hope that they don't get off track when it comes down to saying, hey, do they love or do not love the game? And that's what we're basically going into right now with Trevor Lawrence. It's not a factor of, okay, can he play? Yes, you know he can play. I asked you during the break, aside from Trevor Lawrence, who's the best overall talent, and you gave your answer to that.
Kyle Pitts, Florida.
But when it comes down to just, does this seems like a surefire hit when it comes to picking a guy? Yes. Only things that's ruined him has been his comments. And even still, if you are Jacksonville Jaguars.
They're taking him.
If it's you, though.
Yes.
You're taking him.
Sure.
100%. So it goes down to, okay, a guy, would you rather not know and the guy just fizzles out? Or would you rather know and say, hey, we gotta continuously challenge this guy. We got to continuously push the envelope when it comes to taking the next step. And I think Urban Meyer is a guy because he's a former college guy. And maybe that was the reason for bringing him in because they may have known this. Again, we've been studying this guy for the last 3 years of his career. So you pair him with a coach that knows how to get the best out of you. You pair Ryan Tannehill with an Arthur Smith, a Mike Vrabel. Because why? They might know psychologically he needs to be put in this environment. Bring him to Nashville instead of keeping him in Miami. That's why, and I think that's why.
Well, John Robinson saw it.
Exactly. So that's why you do these things. And I asked you during the break, okay, well, number 1 overall picks. The one that comes to mind, the Raiders, JaMarcus Russell.
Yes.
I know his talent was out of this world, but you still picked him. It's because the talent is there. If you put him maybe in a different organization with a different coach, a different culture, you have people that know what he does in his free time somewhat, then you have a different trajectory when you have a guy like JaMarcus Russell. And I know that might be a bad example, but I'm looking in the sense of, okay, number 1 overall quarterbacks who may have had issues like this down the line earlier than they should have when it comes to picking the franchise guy.
Well, Alex Smith. Alex Smith is a great example. Remember, Alex Smith went 1 in 2005.
Think about that.
Out of Utah.
Yes.
And he was a guy, remember who his college coach was? Urban Meyer.
Urban, yes.
Uh-huh. And so who went 24th?
It was
Aaron Rodgers.
Aaron Rodgers. He waited in the green room.
Yes,
we saw this.
It was one of the great stories of the draft. It's why a lot of guys don't attend the draft anymore because they're afraid of being Aaron Rodgers.
Or Brady Quinn.
Yes,
or Brady Quinn. So let's speak about Aaron. Aaron probably grew a chip on his shoulder because of that. He probably grew one. And that's
he also got to wait 4 years.
He did after.
He did not start until year 4.
And so there's so many dynamics when it comes down to breaking down these type of guys at that position, the number one quarterback at your organization. A guy
But Trevor Lawrence is playing right away.
He's going to play right away. I'll tell you another guy. I just said it lowly. Vince Young. If we talent, check.
Oh, yeah.
Could he sling it? Check. Athletic? Check. When it comes down to being in an environment and getting the most out of them mentally more than anything else, because that's what the game turns up to whenever you get behind center, when you get in the game, is everybody can do mostly the same stuff when it comes down to it. But if you can find a coach to pair him with, to keep him psychologically in it.
Yeah, but see, I was
so much that goes.
No
into
offense,
it.
Ramon, but I was here for that.
I've heard a lot of around
the issue with him was commitment.
So
mean,
was that not a question when you drafted him?
It was a question.
Okay,
because the owner wanted him.
Okay,
you know
that's a separation.
The owner wanted him, and he was a great talent, but there were many on the football side who were
Yeah. So how? And again.
But it was about commitment.
If Trevor, go ahead.
And I think Trevor Lawrence is committed. And Vince has said, to his credit, I wished that I had been more committed to the job of being a football player. Because it's a job.
Yeah.
It is such a job, man. And,
yes.
And the work that you have to put in and at different times for our organization, and the Steelers, when you were there, didn't have it as much because the culture was so baked in.
Yeah.
You had so many guys who consistently did it the right way. The Titans in 2006 brought in guys like David Thornton, like Chris Hope, like Kevin Mawai to show dudes how to do it. And a lot of guys responded.
Yeah.
Some didn't.
Again.
The ones who wanted it and who were willing to be committed to it learned the proper lessons.
So when it comes down to, again, picking Trevor Lawrence number one overall, because he's still going to be number one. He just said the quiet part out loud.
He did.
About how he felt.
That's what you've hit.
Yeah.
He said the quiet part out loud.
But before he said these things, though, himself, because nobody really knows a whole lot about him in terms of his personal life, other than he's very faith-based. Or you assume he was a heck of a competitor. He showed that. You showed that he was level-minded, level-headed, and all things that he does. And you felt like he's a true pro until the comments. But as a whole, when we still break him down, the competitive side is still there. And that's where the pass is given on a guy like himself.
Well, and the other part, too, that the NFL people have no problem with the faith-based.
No.
They have no problem at all. And so that is not – some people will read this and will hear some of the questions that the, quote, NFL people have, and they will say, whoa, they have a problem. No, they don't have a problem. The question they have is about the switch.
The love.
But the switch comes – listen – Kevin Mawai is one of the most religious people that I've ever known in my entire life. He has a trueness to his faith like few that you have ever met in any walk of life. But the switch, oh my goodness.
Again, I spoke about a guy that played Troy was the same way.
Troy Polamalu.
He'd have a mural in his locker before games with his rosary beads. He'd have his cards there. He'd pray silently away from but the switch was what you didn't want to see. Okay, and I think Trevor Lawrence has the switch. Also, again, it's to the point I said before.
I do too, actually.
Yeah, 100%. We can beat on this one however we want to, but I want to see him play the Titans. Okay, and I said this also. If this is how he felt, and I didn't know these comments was going to come out, but if you're the Titans defense, okay, Shane Bowen, okay, you do this. You hit him as many times as you can. You confuse him as much as you can. And these 2 times you're going to see him this year coming up, and you try to create a precedence that says, hey, look, we're here. You're going to have to deal with this Tennessee Titans defense for a very long time. And if this is how you feel, then maybe that chip on your shoulder, maybe we just knock that off.
Well, the difference is for him and what he's about to learn
Yeah.
is he's going to play with good receivers, but he ain't playing against Syracuse's cornerbacks every week. And what I mean by that is the ACC has good players.
Yes.
But the majority of ACC teams don't have two NFL corners.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Syracuse has good safeties,
Right.
and I use that as just an example. But every team that you play in the NFL has an NFL corner. And now you're going to see different stuff. Every team has linebackers that can run. There are no ACC linebackers who run 4.8.
Right.
I mean, it's just not. And so now the challenges, Heath Schuler told me one time the biggest challenge about playing quarterback in the NFL is what is considered open.
Which is what Tua learned.
Yeah, in the SEC, Heath Schuler said if you could see both guys' numbers, he's open.
Yeah.
In the NFL, if you can see one receiver's number, he's open.
Yeah.
That's the bottom line. That is the bottom line with all of it is, and that's what has made Tannehill so good the last 2 years is he's been so decisive.
Yes.
The ball is coming out. Mariota hesitant.
Yeah.
Took sacks, missed guys because that ball has got to come out. Can Trevor Lawrence, can Mac Jones, can Justin Fields, can Zach Wilson, can Trey Lance, can they make the decisions this quickly? Because what they've seen before with corners who aren't quite as good, have they seen before about what they've been told as a guy's considered open? It all changes now.
And this is the other part that they got to deal with, too, for quarterbacks, their protection. Zach Wilson has had really good protection.
He sure has.
Trevor Lawrence has really good protection. Justin Fields, really good protection. All these guys have been college protected. That line in Jacksonville, I don't know if it's that good.
Did you ever play baseball growing up in Ripley?
I did not. I did not play baseball.
Okay, so on baseball teams growing up, there would always be a stacked team.
Yeah. Oh, well, I see that now in my kids' sports.
But
I know what you're talking about.
But see, three of the dads would coach, and they would have the three best players in the league, and their little brothers would be good players, and there would be stacked teams. And they were the best team. Well, this is what somebody at Ohio State, somebody at Clemson, somebody at Alabama has been dealing with. They've been playing on stacked teams. And so now they're getting ready to play the rest of the league, and everybody's got a stacked team in terms of the overall talent. And how do you adjust to that? The other thing, too, is how will they respond? And this is what the question is about the heart and the sentiment. Trevor Lawrence is going to have a day in the NFL like he's never had before in his life. He is going to have a disaster. Mac Jones is going to have a disaster. Trey Lance is going to have a disaster. Zach Wilson's going to have a disaster. Justin Fields is going to have a disaster. It will happen. Tom Brady's had him. Peyton Manning's had him. Ben Roethlisberger's had him.
Even before them last year, Lamar Jackson.
Josh
Allen.
Yes.
Sam Darnold. All of them.
How do you handle the disasters? Because can you come back from the nightmares?
And you know what? When we're speaking about this young quarterback group and pairing them with the right coaches, Trevor Lawrence is the one that kind of peeks the eyes a little bit more, raises the eyebrows a little bit higher because why? Urban Meyer has always done what? He's always won.
Oh, yeah.
He's always won. Looking at their offensive and defensive coordinators, Darrell Bevell and Joe Cullen, I couldn't tell you much about him. I'm sure you know more, but as far as like being
Darrell Bevell was in Seattle.
Yeah.
He has a Green Bay pedigree.
Yeah.
He was the head coach of the Detroit Lions. He's a very good quarterback coach.
Very good quarterback coach. Can he call it the way the offenses are now and what Jacksonville already has on their roster?
But see, that's one of the questions that you ask about Urban Meyer too, that somebody like Nick Saban had a problem with is
in Miami.
Lose a game at Alabama, and it's a disaster.
Right.
Lose 2 games in a season, 3 games in a season, that's rough. Listen, if you lose 5 games in the NFL, you've had a good year.
Yeah.
How will you handle going 8-8 or worse than that if you've never lost before.
8-9 now.
Right, 8-9, that's right. But how will you handle it if you've never lost before? The rally is as big a part of it because you are going to lose in the NFL. That's going to be a challenge for Urban Meyer, particularly with a 21-year-old quarterback.
Yes, it is. And for both of them, honestly. Right now, there's some betting sites, of course, that has Jacksonville over and under wins, 6.5.
Yeah.
That's a lot of losing for a guy that's only lost, 2-3 games in his whole college career?
That's exactly right.
And also Urban Meyer, who's not used to losing like that. That's going to be the biggest question is how does he adjust?
He's won over 80% of his games.
That's a lot.
That's a lot. JMart and Ramon, 615-737-1045 on Twitter, at JMart and Ramon. Presented by All Four Seasons Garage Doors. We've got more of your calls and more coming up on the official home for your Tennessee Titans and Titans Radio. This is 104.5 The Zone.
If we could bottle up all that Titans energy, we'd wear it, drink it. I get like my blood replaced and transfused with Titans energy. Our season never ends. Your home for Titans football is 104.5 The Zone.
Hey, it's Schaefer with JMart and Ramon. Spring is showtime at BetMGM. Baseball is back, and as the weather warms up, the hockey and basketball action gets even hotter. It's the perfect time to take a shot at an easy 100 from the king of sportsbooks. Sign up today using code Schaefer100 to win $100 in free bets when you place a $1 money line wager on the Grizzlies or Nuggets. And if either team hits a 3, you win regardless of your bet's outcome. No matter what your favorite sport is, BetMGM is always at your fingertips with innovative parlay selection builders, daily promotions, boosted odds specials, and much more. Download the app or go to BetMGM.com and use code Schaefer100 to win $100 in free bets when you wager $1 on the Grizzlies or Nuggets to hit a 3. New customer offer. Paid in free bets. Must be 21 years or older. Must be in Tennessee to bet. Visit BetMGM.com for full list of terms and conditions. For problem gambling support, call the Tennessee Red Line, 800-889-9789.
The signs of spring are all around us. Warmer weather, flowers blooming, and mosquitoes. Luckily, you can take back your yard with Arrow Exterminators and their mosquito control service. The experts at Arrow protect homes using the most environmentally friendly methods available so that you can enjoy your yard all spring and summer long. Fight the mosquito bites and schedule your free home or business pest inspection today. Call 888-GO-ARROW or visit arrowexterminators.com. That's 888-GO-ARROW or arrowexterminators.com.
Genesis Diamond's spectacular spring extravaganza is here this weekend. 3 days of phenomenal savings store-wide. You save up to 35% off Genesis already guaranteed best prices. Rings, pendants, earrings, bracelets, bands, and more. Plus special financing. This event was canceled last year, so we're making it bigger than ever this year. With twice the selection and double the savings. Get sale prices on all new designer jewelry and GIA certified diamonds. This Friday through Sunday only, and only at Genesis Diamond, Green Hills and Cool Springs. On approved credit.
A reading from the Golden Oak Lending Book of Mortgage Lingo. What is Zipline? It's Golden Oak's fast and easy online mortgage tool that leaves you with more time to plan a family movie night.
I get to pick the movie.
And clean up the popcorn you weren't planning on sharing. At Golden Oak Lending, we speak mortgage and love translating it. Right now, rates are at a record low 1.875%. Visit goldenoaklending.com to use Zipline. NMLS 114937. 1.875% fixed. 2.913% APR. FHA 15-year mortgage with 20% equity and approved credit.
Hi, this is Lance Drury with the Lance Drury Law Firm here in Nashville. I've been warning our clients that IRS employees are back at work since mid-July, and their collection efforts have ramped up. Well, sure enough, it looks like it's happening. So if you have unfiled tax returns, wage levies, bank levies, or tax liens, now's the time to call the Lance Drury Law Firm before the IRS calls you. Tax resolution plans are based off your current income. So if your current income is less than normal due to the COVID-19 pandemic, this is precisely the time for the Lance Drury Law Firm to help you. Your consultation is free, so don't put it off. The Lance Drury Law Firm focuses solely on tax resolution law. It's all we do. And if you have IRS problems, you have legal problems. Let us use our tax law resolution experience to guide you and work on your custom custom resolution plan. Call now. It's free and confidential. Call me, Lance Drury, at 615-733-8168 or go to LanceDruryLaw.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
Veterans who refinance their VA loan with Loan Pronto are shocked at how great the rates are and how much equity they have in their homes. Hey, it's Dawn Davenport here from 3HL. Did you know that with a VA loan, you can take out as much as 90% of your home's value? That means you can get $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 cash out of that. Use that money to pay off credit cards, consolidate other loans, or start that home improvement project you really want to do. Even if you refinanced last year, you can do it again, and you can take advantage of your home's rise in value. Or even if you don't need cash out, you should call Loan Pronto. You should ask about their VA Streamline loans that require no income documentation, no appraisal, and no cash due at closing. And yes, you can still get VA loans in the twos. Call Loan Pronto now at 615-499-5780. Visit them, loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781. Subject to lender approval. Not all loans eligible.
Ferguson Facility Supplies, putting safety first with products like the E-Mist, an electrostatic disinfecting mister. The E-Mist patented application system has 360-degree sanitation, allowing more coverage, less waste, and better results. No proprietary chemicals needed, and 1 gallon of solution cleans 54,000 square feet, cutting labor and solution costs by 45%. Ferguson is one of the nation's top providers of maintenance, repair, and operations products for a variety of facilities, from multifamily, hospitality, assisted living, schools, and more. Create a safer workspace with Ferguson. Call Ferguson today at 888-242-6595.
Twin Spire Sportsbook is live in Tennessee, and they're coming out of the starting gates with their best offer yet for new players. With 1 week of risk-free bets up to $1,000. Twin Spires is backed by the same team as the Kentucky Derby, bringing over 140 years of excitement and wagering experience. Just download the Twin Spires app using promo code FREE1000 to get started. Void prohibited. For terms and conditions, visit twinspires.com. Must be 21 and up and physically present in Tennessee to bet. See full terms and conditions at twinspires.com. For help with a gambling problem, call or text the Tennessee Red Line, 1-800-889-9789.
It's no secret that the housing market is red hot. The competition is fierce. Get a leg up on the competition and get pre-approved now. TheHomeLoanExpert.com.
The Home Loan Expert LLC, NMLS number 1326241.
Identity thieves love tax forms with personal info needed to steal your identity. That's why LifeLock helps protect, monitor, and restore your identity. No one can monitor all transactions at all businesses, but you can save up to 25% off your first year at LifeLock.com. Promo code RISK.
From the 104.5 The Zone Traffic Center.
Delays continue on 24 westbound before Hickory Hollow Parkway in Antioch. An accident investigation continues to block the right lane. Traffic stop and go from Sam Ridley Parkway. Haywood Lane at 24. There is a grass fire reported at the 24 westbound exit ramp. Use caution. 31st Avenue south of West End Avenue. We've got an accident with emergency crews on the scene. 19th Avenue north at State Street. There's an accident being cleared. And near Vandy Stadium, Vanderbilt Place at 31st Street, there's a crash. I'm Christy O'Brien with traffic on your home for Titans football. 104.5 The Zone.
JMart and Ramon. Mike Keith in for Jason Martin, 615-737-1045. At JMart and Ramon on Twitter. Love to hear from you. Let's hear from Ray in Nashville. Ray, thanks for joining the program at 747. Appreciate you.
How you doing, sir?
Great, thank you.
Morning.
Morning, guys. It's an honor to talk to you, Mike and Ramon. You're in good company. Your radio career will go far as long as you keep putting yourself in the company of the person you're sitting next to today. Are you guys in the same studio today?
We are, yes, separated by plexiglass.
Oh, thank goodness for that. Anyway,
awesome.
I wanted to talk to you guys about more about the same subject. The quarterbacks going 1 and 2 or whatever, high in the draft. Decades ago, Mike, I know you were there. Ramon was probably still a little guy back then. But quarterbacks 1 and 2, Peyton Manning and Ryan Leaf. What happened with Ryan Leaf? Was he in a bad environment? Elaborate on that, if you would, please. And I'll just hang up and get off the phone and listen to this.
I don't think he was in a bad environment at all. I just think he was a person that could not handle the situation.
Yeah.
Ryan Leaf is a person that I'm personally very proud of because he has fought back. I think he's on his way to becoming a good broadcaster.
Yeah.
he has fought back from some demons that he faced, and he has taken responsibility for what would be perceived as the failure of his career.
Yeah.
But to be able to handle all of it, and this is what gives teams pause, Ramon, about comments that are not Peyton Manning-like. They would much rather have somebody who is 100% all in than somebody who necessarily lays out lots of other interests.
Yeah.
You have said it well. The story about Trevor Lawrence is more of a PR problem than probably a Trevor Lawrence problem.
It is.
Because he said the quiet part out loud. I think you put that well.
He did. And the quiet part out loud is just him saying, I have other interests. Like, and again, I spoke about the psychological side of the game too, just simply because guys got to do stuff to psych themselves out on why or how to be successful. Jordan was a guy that did, you said this about me? Like in his mind. Nobody said anything to him. Jordan found ways to pick on guys because why? I needed a way. There's so many Hall of Famers that do that type of. Ray Lewis was a guy that found somebody and pointed to you and was like, you today, you're the guy, okay? And I think that's more or less what Trevor is doing and say, hey, I know the pressure that sits with me right now is high. And because of that, I got to find an outside escape or mental escape when it comes down to the game. And this is the thing, too, that people are going to do to Trevor Lawrence. Right now, like I said, Vegas has their wins. They're over under 6.5 games. And because of that, that means he's going to lose a lot. And at the end of the season, what are we all going to do, Mike? Trevor Lawrence, are you really who you say you are? Is Urban Meyer, are you really who you say you are? So because of that, guys need those mental escapes safely. Not meaning go out and pull a Jamarcus Russell, honestly, and find drugs or find, I don't care what it is, alcohol, street racing, illegal activity. You don't want that. And I think his means of saying that I don't have a chip on my shoulders because I'm sure of myself. I know what my talents are. When it comes to Ryan Leaf and his situation of picking 1 and 2 between he and Peyton, I think it became more of it could have been pressure. It could have been exposure and free time, which we know that can be a big issue.
Oh, the free time aspect is one of the most underrated parts of this. Everybody talks about the money.
Yes.
And the money is a thing.
It's huge.
Do you realize what the minimum salary for a rookie is this year?
$630?
$660.
$660. I'm off by 30.
$660.
Yes.
That's your first job out of college, my friend. Your first job out of college is going to pay you $660. That's a big deal.
Yes, it is.
I think it's a bigger deal, the free time. Because all of a sudden, you're not on the same schedule. When you're in college, the 20-hour rule's in effect. You got to go to study hall. You got certain times you can eat.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, all of it is set.
It's set.
Suddenly, hey, you want to go to Taco Bell at 11? Go.
Because you can recover by practice.
Oh, yeah.
I'll be good by practice. Practice at 12.
I'm going to stay up and play PlayStation with my buddies online until 3 o'clock in the morning.
Those guys wake up at 7, be at the facility by 8:30 meeting.
It's fun.
You're rested up and ready to go.
But guess what? Derrick Henry ain't doing that.
No,
Derrick Henry is eating at a certain time, working out at a certain time, going to bed at a certain time. And guess what? Over the course of the season, he's going to get you. He's going to get you because he's staying with it. Yeah, I can bounce back from 3 hours sleep and Taco Bell at 1 o'clock in the morning over a certain period of time. But guess what? Over the course of a season, Derrick Henry's going to get me by the time we get to November, and so many dudes can't handle the free time, Ramon.
And this is the other part of the free time that you're mentioning too. You go from being I got an evening class on Tuesdays and Thursdays at UT, okay? But now in that free time, I get the money. Let me tell you what my free time was, okay?
Okay.
Something simple, but this is on a small scale. We got our first check, and I never forget getting my first check. Compared to
how much was your first check?
My first check was like $9,800 after taxes.
So you took $9,800 to the bank. That's almost as much as I made $11,000 my first year out of college.
Imagine 23 years old.
Oh,
so this is what happened with their free time and money, though, on a smaller scale, though, Mike. And this is what you got to realize: the rookie's now making double that.
Oh yeah.
Okay, I remember sending that picture to my girlfriend, who's now my wife. Okay, it's like, look at this.
And that's why she married you.
No, it was way more than that, okay? Now, we met at UT, so she knew way before any of this had happened, okay?
Sorry, it was too easy.
Yeah, it was way too easy. But some of those guys got to deal with that issue, too. So, love you, babe, by the way. So, during the season, I was at Best Buy every friggin' Tuesday.
Buying a new DVD.
Because that was the DVD and music release day. And guess what? I was finding a way to either get a TV, a new electronic, or something. So imagine me just spending small bucks at Best Buy. Imagine what guys do in their free time or what they're able to buy in their free time. And we were speaking about Ryan Leaf. What was he able to do as a number 2 overall pick in San Diego?
Buy whatever he wanted.
And buying whatever you wanted.
Whenever he wanted.
Could do what, Mike?
Too much.
Exactly.
104.5 The Zone. JMart and Ramon, hour number 3, and Coach Mack on deck.
The 3HL declares a state of bunk. Wait a minute. Bunk?
And I'm sorry, but that's bunk. I totally thought that was a new, millennial word that I had started using and I was cool. And everyone's like, no, that's actually a really old word. But anyway, that's bunk. And every Titans fan out there is going to agree with me and say
They're not.
that that's bunk.
No, they're not. Oh, yeah, bunk. Totally get it. The 3HL with Brent Doherty and Don Davenport. This afternoon starting at 3 on 104.5 The Zone.
This is Boomer Esiason with the CBS Sports Minute, sponsored by Cordell & Cordell, Fair Divorce for Men. Visit dadsdivorce.com. Tonight in Las Vegas, Patrick Marleau of the San Jose Sharks will break Gordie Howe's record for most games played in the history of the NHL. In his 23rd season, the 41-year-old center from Saskatchewan will play in his 1,768th game. I want to be looked upon when I'm gone that I gave it my all, Marleau said, adding that he enjoyed the game, loved being around the team, loved winning games. Marleau has 566 goals, 1,196 points, 3 All-Star appearances, and 2 Olympic gold medals for Canada. On Saturday, the Minnesota Wild honored Marleau for tying the record, and the fans in St. Paul gave him a standing ovation. When you get recognized like that, the other building's fans cheering for you, Marleau said, it's definitely humbling. And what a feat for Patrick Marleau. I'm Boomer Esiason.
Hi, this is Joe Cordell with the law firm Cordell & Cordell. When the prospect of divorce becomes a reality, you need a partner that you can count on. If you're a man in this situation, consider contacting Cordell & Cordell. We've helped men navigate complex legal matters for 30 years.
Contact Cordell & Cordell to schedule an appointment with one of our firm's Nashville area attorneys, a partner men can count on. Online at CordellCordell.com. 810 Crescent Center Drive, Suite 160, Franklin, Tennessee, 37067.
Let me get right back to you. Sandra, those banners go out tonight. Can you pack them?
Indeed knows unexpected growth can stretch your business thin.
On machine 4?
Like at Monica's Print Shop. To fulfill orders on time, she needs to get started hiring right away.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. And the moment you sponsor a job on Indeed, you get a short list of quality candidates from our resume database. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get a $75 credit for your first sponsored job post. Terms and conditions apply.
If you're thinking about selling your home this spring, now is the time. Hey, this is Dawn Davenport from 3HL. And when it comes to selling your home, experience matters. The Wall Street Journal ranked Mark Spain Real Estate #1 in the U.S. for closed transactions for the 3rd year in a row. So if you need to sell your home, they can help you today. And when you call them, they respond fast. 855-299-SOLD is the number. Sell your home hassle-free and skip the constant cleaning, repairs, and all the stress that goes with it. The guaranteed offer from Mark Spain Real Estate gives you an opportunity to receive an all-cash offer and close in as little as 21 days, and their offers are the strongest in the industry. They've been in the business for over 25 years. Trust me, they've served over 25,000 families. They know what matters most. A quick sale, maximum profit. No showings, no open houses, no stress. It's simple. Go to markspain.com to get a guaranteed offer on your home today. markspain.com and start packing.
Switching your car insurance to Geico is both easy and could save you hundreds. It's the best of both worlds. Like a butcher with a sense of humor. A co-meat Ian.
Well, I'd tell you a joke, but I'd probably butcher it. The stakes are too high.
Geico. Easy and savings. The best of both worlds.
You have the opportunity to build a future. AT&T is hiring technicians across the greater Nashville area to help expand and support the AT&T fiber network. Our technician teams are on the front lines of growing the AT&T fiber footprint and assisting customers with installing and supporting AT&T fiber. You'll experience new challenges and adventures with a full benefits package and employee perks. Sound like the right job for you? Apply today at att.jobs/technician. That's att.jobs/technician. AT&T is an equal opportunity employer.
A reading from the Golden Oak Lending Book of Mortgage Lingo. What is Zipline? It's Golden Oak's fast and easy online mortgage tool that leaves you with more time to plan a family movie night.
I get to pick the movie.
And clean up the popcorn you weren't planning on sharing. At Golden Oak Lending, we speak mortgage and love translating it. Right now, rates are at a record low 1.875%. Visit goldenoaklending.com to use Zipline. NMLS 114937. 1.875% fixed. 2.913% APR. FHA 15-year mortgage with 20% equity and approved credit.
Masvidal and Usman put on a show the last time they stepped into the octagon. And the DraftKings Sportsbook, the official sports betting partner of UFC, is putting you in the center of this weekend's title fight. Pick either main event fighter to win this weekend's UFC 261 title fight, and DraftKings Sportsbook will give you 26-1 odds. Just bet $5 on either fighter to win. If they walk out with the belt, you will cash $130. There's no better way to put your MMA knowledge to the test than to put your money where your mouth is. Download the top-rated DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code WGFX when you sign up to turn $5 into $130 if the title contender of your choice wins. That's code WGFX for a limited time, only at DraftKings Sportsbook. Must be 21 years or older and present in Tennessee to bet. Restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for detail. And if you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call or text the Tennessee Red Line at 1-800-889-9789.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
Fleet Cards USA.
Looking for an easy way to manage expenses and cash flow? Get fuel cards. They're the easy way to get additional credit to help run your business. Plus, our reporting and analytics could save you even more. Go to fleetcardsusa.com, answer a few questions, and hi-ho, you're good to go.
From the 104.5 The Zone Traffic Center.
Antioch, 24 westbound before Hickory Hollow Parkway. The right lane is closed for an accident investigation. Watch for police on the scene and stop traffic from Sam Ridley Parkway. Whites Creek Pike, there's a crash north of Coopertown Road. And 31st Avenue, south of West End Avenue. Watch for an accident with emergency crews on the scene. This report brought to you by Gatorade. Purchase any Gatorade product at MAPCO and enter to win weekly prizes through MAPCO's My Rewards app. Now through May 3rd, win a $200 Fanatics gift card or the grand prize Gatorade swag bag. Grab a Gatorade at your local MAPCO today. I'm Christy O'Brien with traffic on your home for Titans football. 104.5 The Zone.
From the Mark Spain Real Estate Studios, this is your Titans NFL Draft Station. WGFX Gallatin, Nashville. Trending now at 104.5 The Zone.
It is 8:02. Good morning. I'm Jonathan Schaefer. College baseball over the weekend. Top 5 matchup between Vanderbilt and Tennessee. The Commodores outslugged the Vols 10-4 on Sunday to take 2 of 3 from the weekend series. Could put them back to number 1 in the college baseball polls. The Braves posted a 6th spot at the top of the first inning, never looked back, defeating the Chicago Cubs 13-4 on Sunday Night Baseball. Atlanta hit 4 homers in the first, including a moonshot by Freddie Freeman. Braves improved to 7-9. Phillies beat the Cards 2-0. Cleveland over Cincinnati 6-3. Alex Bowman won at Richmond in NASCAR. 47-year-old Stuart Sink captured his 3rd career RBC Heritage title in golf. Also the 2nd win of the season. Good for Stewart. And the Predators host Chicago tonight. Puck drop at 7 o'clock. Preds are trying to snap a 2-game losing streak. They've lost 3 of their last 5 after they had won 13 of 16. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and the Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Attention now. Now it's time for Jason Martin and Vol for Life Ramon Foster.
Powered by all 4 Seasons Garage Doors.
Together, they are JMart and Ramon on 104.5 The Zone.
Jason Martin not with us this morning. Mike Keith sitting in his chair with Ramon Foster. 2 more hours remaining in this edition of JMart and Ramon.
Breezing through.
We're breezing right through. We've been doing a lot of quarterback talk. We've certainly hit a lot about Trevor Lawrence's comments in Sports Illustrated and the way those comments have been interpreted. We've talked about Trey Lance's workout, which San Francisco, who has the 3rd pick, is scripting for him. Hello.
Trey Lance this time?
Yeah.
Again, I thought they put out earlier that doesn't mean they're getting the quarterback.
Yeah, sure.
But this is the other part that they're doing too. They've gone to Mac Jones's, right?
They have.
They've seen Justin Fields in person.
They have seen Justin Fields.
And you said they're going to see Trey Lance in person.
They're scripting it. They scripted. The 49ers scripted his workout reportedly.
And you know what? And I continuously say this all the time. There's so many games that are played around draft season. It's Jason Martin, our new father. Welcome to fatherhood, Jason.
That away.
Again, okay. Has called this the season of the lives for a lot of different reasons. They've seen 3 quarterbacks who draft analysts deem franchise quarterbacks, okay? Only person they hadn't seen is Zach Wilson.
But he's going to the Jets.
He's going to the Jets and Trevor Lawrence.
And he's going to the Jags.
Of these 3 guys that they've seen as of recently, they're getting all the intel they possibly can when it comes to picking this guy. And also comes to facing these guys too. You know, like I know, coaches gather so much intel, so much characteristic answers. Okay, so much, what will he do in these type of situations? Put him in adverse situations that is either going to be a benefit to him or a detriment to the guys they're watching. Meaning, if I know he can't throw rolling out to his left, then I'm going to force him to go left whenever I'm playing against him.
Sure.
That happens, okay? If I know he really can't go under center, or if he does go under center, he drops 2 balls from under center, when we work him out, then guess what? I'm blitzing him when he's under center. I'm forcing him out of the pocket when it comes down to taking a snap. If I know that he's not ready to throw NFL open, as you just said, in our last segment at the end of the last hour, there's an NFL open criteria that a lot of these college guys don't know how to meet just yet. You know, and that's the beauty of what San Francisco has allowed themselves to do by moving up to number 3, is they get an opportunity to see all of these guys up close and in person. And they're going to break them down as much as they can to either pick one, or to destroy them when they play them.
Right. Well, in essence, they have the number 1 pick in the draft.
Yeah.
Because the Jags are going to take Trevor Lawrence.
Easy.
Zach Wilson, who doesn't get talked about enough.
He doesn't.
Because he probably throws the best ball of it. I mean,
I would say that.
So much gets left out about, well, he has great arm talent. Well, that's great, but can he complete a pass? There's a difference between arm talent and being able to complete a pass. Josh Allen had great arm talent coming out of Wyoming. Now he's figured out how to complete a pass.
Yes.
I mean, do you realize?
So true.
Do you realize that the NFL completion percentage average last year was 65%?
65.
That's 13 out of 20 passes completed. In 2002, the NFL completion percentage average was 58%. That's how different pass games and passer talents have become over that period of time. And you've got a guy like Zach Wilson who completed 76% of his passes.
That's a lot.
And I mean, we're not throwing all quick screens either.
So what I'll ask you this, is it more important for a quarterback to complete a whole lot of passes in the conference that he played in, at the offense that he played in at BYU, or is it more important for a receiver to catch more balls in college? Which one is held higher?
Well, I think completion.
Completions?
Because some guys can't. I've seen some quarterbacks who are inaccurate play and catch.
Yeah.
And if you're inaccurate play and catch, you're not all of a sudden going to get better throwing the deep out.
You either are or aren't.
You are or you aren't. Zach Wilson are.
So
I mean, that's
to your point. An example would be Tim Tebow.
Aren't.
But if you put
Zach Wilson, are.
Okay.
That's the
what
whole
I
thing.
To hear. Yeah.
Trevor Lawrence, are.
Yeah.
And that's what they're asking about Trey Lance.
Yeah.
Is he an R or is he an aren't?
Yes.
Those are the questions. Justin Fields, some of the throws we saw him make in the semifinal game.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And the other part, I think, which is why Mac Jones is going up.
Woo.
is because he can throw it to a spot.
But he was also this is
I
the
know,
it's a question about Alabama quarterbacks.
I know.
If you're throwing to the big kids when they're playing against the little kids,
you're gonna moss them every time.
Then yeah, so right, you're gonna moss them every time. So how is it gonna be when the big kids are playing the big kids?
So
I like Mac Jones. I think he's a good quarterback, but I get the whole Alabama and people.
I know, but Joe Burrow went through the same thing.
He did,
and he still flourished.
He did.
I thought until that's my old rival, the Shaws too.
I know.
Cincinnati didn't do what
Did
they
you
were
see
supposed
Cincinnati's
to
new uniforms just came out?
I missed them. What was it?
They look like the old uniforms. They really do. It's like
I thought you was gonna have something for me.
No,
right
I
there.
did. I did have something for you.
Why do you always do that though?
Well, I gave you what they gave me. Very little change. They have a white version of their old white uniforms, and they have a orange version of their old orange uniforms, and they have a black version of their old black uniform. It looks like the same thing. It's like, I mean, if I'm a Cincinnati fan, I'm going,
okay,
that's a change? Did I miss something?
I know.
It's like Mike Brown has new brown shoes.
It's like,
it's like, okay, this is nice.
Mr. Rogers switching up from his chucks.
By the way, let me throw one thing at you before we go to break. I got to know what you think about this.
I'm listening.
Did you see who is trying out to be the permanent host of Jeopardy from the sports world?
Yes, I did. It was when you say his name, I'm remembering.
Joe Buck.
Joe Buck.
Joe Buck.
I saw Joe Buck.
This is not.
I saw that.
Joe Buck is not doing the fill-in thing.
I know.
He's not doing the fill-in thing.
That.
He wants to be the permanent host of Jeopardy. You know why he does?
Why is that?
$30 million.
You know why Aaron Rodgers is auditioning for it?
$30 million.
No scrutiny. Nobody wondering if you love the game anymore.
Just get out. Doesn't matter who you're dating or who you're marrying or whatever you're doing.
It don't matter.
Doesn't make any difference. Doesn't matter how tall you are.
Nope.
It doesn't matter if you have a chip on your shoulder.
Nope.
Doesn't make any difference.
It doesn't matter if you have a chip on your shoulder. I love that.
I mean the whole thing.
30, which is why, again.
And you work a week. See, this is why everybody in broadcasting wants a game show.
Yeah.
You work a week a month.
Wow.
Because you record all the shows in most cases with game shows, and it's probably not true with everyone.
Yeah.
But you go in and you do 5-6 shows a day over a week.
Okay. Which is why you see Drew Brees working
Well,
himself.
which is why Joe Buck says,
wow.
I can do it.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, listen, when you're a big Fox TV play-by-play guy, you have helpers doing your boards and doing. I mean, he does a lot of prep on his own, and he's a hard worker. Don't get me wrong. He's a true pro.
Yes.
Nothing wrong with that. But he has helpers.
Yeah.
You have helpers.
Of course.
I've gotten to see Jim Nantz speak with his helpers before a game, and I'm like, man, Jim Nantz.
Yeah.
Jim Nantz. Team Nantz. This is all right. Well, you could prepare for a game and also work on a game show. You could absolutely do that.
$30 million.
I mean, that's the kind of money that Pat Sajak, former Channel 4 weatherman.
Yeah, yeah.
Pat Sajak, why doesn't he quit? Why don't he and Vanna quit?
You?
No.
Bob Barker was another one.
Bob Barker went till he was 107.
That was a good
Even
one.
after he whipped Billy Madison's butt, he's still making that money.
Exactly. Which is I'll say, since you threw this out, which to me
wasn't Billy Madison, was it?
It was.
It was Happy Gilmore.
Happy Gilmore, same guy.
Players
you
mess
knew what
up.
I meant.
Players mess up. That's cool. Okay.
Don't hate the player.
Don't hate
There's
the game.
no way I'm giving you a demerit, Mike. I don't have it.
Thank
I
you.
You
don't
were close,
have it in
though.
my heart
I know
to
you
do
were
it.
close.
It was close,
but
though.
this is why people also question, why would Gruden leave the booth to go coach?
$10 million?
But still, you knew he was making really good.
He was
in the
making
booth.
8.
I thought it was still at this point of making 30 and watching what Romo got, what Stephen
18.
A got,
Yes.
what Skip.
Yes.
Skip. Oh, Skip.
Yeah, he just got
I
7
thought-
or 8, didn't he?
I thought he got
It was a lot.
It's a lot. But that is a nice job to have when you're not really scrutinized behind it.
No.
When we're talking about Joe Buck going to Jeopardy.
We're talking. How hard is this?
I mean, people probably.
We're talking about sports. People say, boy, you have a hard job. No, I don't.
Exactly. We're creating an environment for you to listen to us and be contributors.
I just said the quiet part out loud, didn't I? Dave
McGinnis love it.
You know what for doing that?
I love it. No, I love it. I love that I don't have a hard job. I've never worked a day in my life. Everybody knows.
We're supposed to tell people that.
I know, right? Oh, we're on? This is on?
Hot mic.
I thought this was the official Titans podcast and we were taping.
There's us. No.
Thank you. All right.
Family Feud.
We need a break. Dave McGinnis is going to be joining us momentarily. Brought to you by Farm Bureau Health Plans. This is JMart and Ramon on 104.5 The Zone.
Titans draft notifications on the go. Just download the 104.5 The Zone app.
Tell me something, sir.
This is NFL Draft Month on 104.5 The Zone.
Hey, it's Ramon. And hold up, just listen up real quick. This is who you need to go to when it comes to selling a house. Listen to me. Open Door. And if you're thinking about selling your home, again, think about selling it to Open Door. And if you didn't know already, but hundreds of thousands of people have already requested their offer through Open Door. Yes, I said it 3 times already because guess why? You can too. Go to opendoor.com, answer a few questions about your home, and do this. Complete a contact-free video walkthrough, and you can get your offer in just a few steps. Thing is, if you like that offer, you can sell your house directly to the people I know in this Open Door. No do-it-yourself repairs, no prep work, no showings, no cleaning up. I mean, it'd be good to clean up, but who wants to do all those things anyway? You can get your offer, close when you're ready, and you can do it all online. So get your free offer at opendoor.com/myoffer. Again, that's opendoor.com/myoffer. And offer eligibility varies. Open Door is represented by Open Door Brokerage, Inc., license 02061130 in California, and Open Door Brokerage, LLC, in its other markets.
For 50 years, Farm Bureau Health Plans has been closing the gaps in Medicare coverage. That kind of experience is huge, especially to my health coverage. I found a dental and vision plan to cover what Medicare doesn't. I turned to Farm Bureau Health Plans. With their dental vision plan, I have the best coverage around, covering everything from eyeglasses to dentures. Make your game plan with Dental Vision Silver from Farm Bureau Health Plans. Supreme coverage for less than $1.50 a day. To find out more or sign up, visit fbhp.com. Tell them Coach Max sent you.
Most jewelers will charge you for their warranty. At Shane Company, our warranty is free for a lifetime and even covers the center stone. We're able to offer this because we take extra steps to ensure your jewelry will last a lifetime. We put more gold into the structure of the ring so it will stand the test of time. Our prongs are stronger to securely hold the center stone without compromising elegance or beauty. Look at our jewelry up close. You'll notice structural components that other jewelers don't bother with. Hold it in your hands and you can feel the difference. Visit Shane Company today. When you walk out the door with a stunning engagement ring or a lovely gift tied with a burgundy bow, we'll always be here to protect your jewelry for life. No matter what, we've got your back. Now you have a friend in the jewelry business. Shane Company and shaneco.com.
The VA loan is one of the best benefits of being in the military. You can buy a home with no money down. You can refinance and cash out up to 100% of your home's equity. And interest rates are up to a full point lower than other loans. At HeroLoan.com, we want to earn your business. We pay for the appraisal and can close your VA loan in as little as 14 days. Get the loan you deserve and apply online today at HeroLoan.com. The only way to VA.
NMLS number 1326241.
Get ready to feel the Vegas vibes at Oak Grove Gaming. Make plans now to attend the free Blues Festival at Oak Grove Gaming on Saturday, May 8th. The first event ever at Oak Grove's Concert Amphitheater features a loaded lineup of award-winning musicians. You can let go now, Daddy. Crystal Shawanda kicks things off with her powerful, soulful sound starting at 2 p.m. Soul blues legend Johnny Rawls takes the stage at 5. And masterful guitarist Stacy Mitchart rips it up starting at 8.
Doors open at 1 p.m. and admission is free. This outdoor event will have social distancing so everyone can safely enjoy all the fun, including food trucks, a beer garden, and more. For details on the Blues Festival on Saturday, May 8th, visit oakgrovegaming.com. That's oakgrovegaming.com. Oak Grove Racing, Gaming, and Hotel. So Vegas. So close. Must be 21. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
If you're thinking about selling your home this spring, now's the time. Hey, it's Mickey Ryan, and when it comes to selling your home, experience matters. The Wall Street Journal ranked Mark Spain Real Estate #1 in the U.S. for closed transactions for the 3rd year in a row. If you need to sell your home, they can help you today. And when you call them, they respond fast. You can sell your home hassle-free and skip the constant cleaning, repairs, and all the stress. With the guaranteed offer from Mark Spain Real Estate, you can receive an all-cash offer and close in as little as 21 days, and their offers are the strongest in the industry. Trust me, they've been in the business for over 25 years and have served over 25,000 families, and they know what matters most: a quick sale and maximum profit. The guaranteed offer from Mark Spain Real Estate allows you to bypass the market and sell your home hassle-free. One of their clients, Chris, said, Mark Spain Real Estate made selling our home easy and stress-free with their guaranteed offer program. We got an offer above market value, exceeding my expectations. Mark Spain Real Estate allowed me to sell my house and move out on my time. No showings, no open houses, no stress. It's that simple. Work with the most trusted team in real estate. 855-299-SOLD to get a guaranteed offer on your home today. That's markspain.com and start packing.
A reading from the Golden Oak Lending Book of Mortgage Lingo. What is Zipline? It's Golden Oak's fast and easy online mortgage tool that leaves you with more time to plan a family movie night.
I get to pick the movie.
And clean up the popcorn you weren't planning on sharing. At Golden Oak Lending, we speak mortgage and love translating it. Right now, rates are at a record low 1.875%. Visit goldenoaklending.com to use Zipline. NMLS 114937. 1.875% fixed. 2.913% APR. FHA 15-year mortgage with 20% equity and approved credit.
What's going on? It's Will Bowling reminding you that Tuesday nights are soccer nights on 104.5 The Zone. You can catch the Nashville Soccer Show with me and Davey Shepard talking NSC, MLS, and much more Tuesday nights, 9 o'clock, right here on 104.5 The Zone.
From the 104.5 The Zone Traffic Center.
Downtown, 24 eastbound after Shelby Avenue. We've got an accident blocking the right lane. Use caution. North, 24 eastbound at 65. There's a crash. And delays continue in Antioch, 24 westbound at Hickory Hollow Parkway. All lanes have reopened. Accident investigation is off on the right shoulder. Delays continue from Sam Ridley Parkway. This report brought to you by Discover. Discover matches all the cash back you earn on your credit card at the end of your first year. It's amazing because Discover's accepted at 99% of places in the U.S. that take credit cards. Learn more at discover.com/yes. 2021 Nielsen Report. Limitations apply. I'm Christy O'Brien with traffic on your home for Titans football. 104.5 The Zone.
It's time for Titans Radio's Dave McGinnis. Coached Mac is presented by Farm Bureau Health Plans on 104.5 The Zone.
JMart and Ramon continues 615-737-1045 at JMart and Ramon on Twitter. I'm Mike Keith with Ramon Foster. I'm sitting in for Jason Martin today, and my partner on Titans Radio is Dave McGinnis. Coach Mac, it is so good to talk to you on a Monday morning.
Mike Keith, how great to hear your voice this morning. Ramon, good morning. Shafe, I mean, this is making my morning. I've already done several radio hits this morning on the West Coast, but believe me, this makes me really happy.
What are they wanting to discuss with you on the West Coast right now, Coach?
Draft.
What's the big topic specifically in the draft that you're consistently getting a chance to hit?
How hard it is this year compared to other years. As you well know, this is my 35th draft. You know, and what the big questions were this week, Mike, and leading up to the draft, it's going to be a topic. Everybody's living it. Is how much different the vetting process is this year than it's ever been before. I mean, ever been before. So this, you know, you're going to have some players taken early in this draft that have not played football in a year. Wow. And that's going to be, and that's a real different thing than it's ever been in the past, as you well know. And so, I mean, everybody's in the same boat. And of course, everybody's coming off of a major pandemic that reworked everything that everybody did in this profession. And so that's the big thing, wanting to know, because I've had a lot of experience with these drafts, and what they want to know is, drawing upon my previous experiences, how much different this is. And the one thing that I come out of it saying, Mike and Ramon, is look, it's different, but it's the same different for everybody.
Mm-hmm. So, Coach, man, thank you for coming on this morning, especially after your West Coast visits and whatnot. But to that question about the draft, though, when you speak about how hard it is this year, and last year I'm sure was the same way too, or at least it has some remnants of it, is this. When it comes to the guys that have opted out this year voluntarily, your Penei Sewell, just to name Jamar Chase as those guys also. When it comes down to drafting a guy and looking at film, they also interview their coaches, their parents, anybody they can get in contact with. But when it comes down to the trust of drafting those guys, the Penei Sewell, Jamar Chase, that have high talent, but what about the other guys that may be in the lower half of the first round? Does it come down to hey, we can trust this guy because he played in this conference versus that conference? Or if this coach vouches for him and, you can trust the word of these people? What's the process for that, though, as far as SEC versus Pac-12 guy who may have opted out?
Yeah, Ramon, you've got to trust your people that you have boots on the ground, doing this stuff. And you bring up a great point. And here's the other thing. You got some FCS schools that just got through playing.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, they had a 6 or 7 game spring season. Mm-hmm. So think about that a minute. And so all of this, you've got to be able to trust the people, that your boots on the ground people that you have out. And then what is going to be is really important. And I've talked to, quite a few people that are doing this, is it's really important that you had a plan in place, because this wasn't a surprise to anybody.
Mm-hmm.
We all knew it was going to be like this. And so those people that their organizations were forward thinking enough to have a plan in place for this, and not just all of a sudden go out and say, hey, this is different. You knew it was going to be different. And so it's like anything else. The more prepared you are going in, the better results you are going to get from the evaluations.
Yes, and that's so huge about it. Coach Mike Keefe and I have been talking about the evaluation process this year, and just how it's a lot of time. There's always an article that comes out. And the one we've been talking about in an abundance this morning is this Trevor Lawrence comments. Do you think comments like this really affect a guy when he says, he doesn't have the big chip on his shoulder? How much of the psychological side and just the character side goes into what a guy may or may not say when breaking down and studying these guys? Now, I know it's like you said, you got to trust your guys that are on the ground and say, yes, he is a true competitor or not. But this Trevor Lawrence thing has kind of gotten, not really gotten away, but it's just been controlling the airways a little bit when it talks about does he or does he not love the game?
Well, first of all, you guys are savvy enough, and so are our listeners. Every year, about this time of year before the draft, what are we, 10 days out?
Yeah.
This is about when a lot of these things start to hit. Now, the article gathered a lot of clicks, but let's just narrow it down and think about it a minute. The only people that would ever have to worry about this is Jacksonville, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Nobody else has to worry about what Trevor Lawrence said.
Right.
Because now, if you're talking in generality, look, to me, you've got to know the person. Now, I've been so fortunate to be involved with 8 Hall of Fame players in my career.
Wow.
And I can tell you, I can go down and delineate each and every one of them and tell you that they had other things going on in their life. But when they were doing football, that's what they did. And that's where their focus was. And that's where everything they had was pointed to. So to me, you've got to know the person. And with Trevor Lawrence coming out, he knows he's going to be the number 1 pick. This kid has had success ever since he stepped onto the field and started throwing the deep out. I mean, he's had success. He knows what success feels like. And he also has been a great competitor. I mean, he ran a guy off from Clemson that was a very good quarterback just because of his talent. And plus, he was able to gather a team around him as a freshman. So you've got to know the person. Mm-hmm. But to me, when somebody says something like that has also the background that they have, then it just tells me they're comfortable in their own skin. But I wouldn't say it takes anything away at all from what his dedication to a football team is going to be. Now, when you're talking about the quarterback position, it's always important, because we all know if you don't have a quarterback in this league, a real dude, all you really got is a highly paid rugby team. That's what you have. So what is important to know is that position carries so much gravitas and so much weight, especially nowadays. because of the way the game has evolved offensively, that that guy, you want to be that dude. That's very, very important to know. I mean, guys, we've got a great example of it. I mean, just right up the road here, in Andrew Luck. I mean, here's a great player coming out. I mean, I vetted him coming out, great player. But once the injury started mounting up, finally he got to a point that said, hey, there's more to my life. But when he was playing, he was a tremendous competitor. And so I think that you've got to look at these things, and the people that are experienced at it, they will draw on their experiences. But as I said, the only people that have to be concerned right now about Trevor Lawrence's mindset going in the draft are the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Dave McGinnis from Titans Radio, our guest on 104.5 The Zone. San Francisco has the number 3 pick. They traded to get it. They are reportedly scripting North Dakota State quarterback Trey Lance's workout as they continue to evaluate their options at number 3. In your mind, Coach Mack, 10 days out, does San Francisco already know what they're doing at 3 today?
Yes, they absolutely do. First, you don't trade up and you trade all that draft capital in the future away to not have somebody in mind. Now, they clearly they're very comfortable with whoever is going to be there at 3. But I think they've already separated them. I mean, and now what they're doing is either just finalizing ideas or they're working out every one of them so that nobody knows. Okay. But here's the difference. Here's the difference between San Francisco vetting a quarterback right now and the first 2 teams, Jacksonville and the Jets, vetting a quarterback. Jacksonville and the Jets, they earned the first and second spots in the league. They earned it because they were horrible. Okay. They're horrible. If you want to get the first and second spots in the league, win 2 or 3 or 1 games a year in a National Football League season. San Francisco's got a good football team. They traded up and traded future assets because they think they've got a good enough team, and they have this. Look, they didn't just trade up. They didn't just start vetting these players 2 weeks ago. They knew what was going to be there. They've got an idea of what the lay of the land is. And so they've got somebody in mind, Mike. They're not going to tell anybody. I'm telling you, I don't know, but they've got somebody in mind right now.
Coach, as we get into the offseason at the NFL, and we've known it for years, especially all my years that I played in it, that, hey, it starts up about April 15th. And it just rolls. And every week we get a new headline. Maybe a guy tweaks a hamstring. We just get all these storylines. Well, last year kind of changed that, of course, because of the pandemic. And this year seems to be kind of pushing headway with guys just saying, you know what, we're going to vote to not go in for OTAs. What does that do for the game? What does that do for the coaches that are still in the building, with no players? Well, not most of their players not in. How do you view this moving forward, at least in the short term?
It's Ramon, you played when this phase 1, phase 2, phase 3 first came into being. I mean, it's voluntary. Mm-hmm. It is, and it's voluntarily negotiated in the CBA. I mean, that is something that is true, and it's there. So as a coach, you've got to reconcile yourself to the fact that it is voluntary, and you've got to structure the things that you're going to do when you're able to be with the players to be able to make up for this time, because you've got to be able, as a coaching staff and as an organization, you've got to be able to change with what the times are. You really do. And last year proved that you can still get a football team ready. And look, I've been in the National Football League for 35 years. I've done it so many different ways. And the times that you're doing it, you're saying this is the only way to do it until there's another way to do it. Yes. Okay. But the thing about this is, and I mean, it doesn't seem to me, it should not be a shock to anybody. And plus, put the pandemic in on top of it. Yeah. Now, the pandemic being in on top of it, that's still something very true, but I can't think of a safer place to be than an NFL facility as far as you're talking about the pandemic, because you already had a whole season that you were able to get through because of the safety measures that were put in place at great expense for everybody, but at the benefit for everybody who was able to be involved in that. But look, you can't even, as a coaching staff or as an organization, you don't spend a lot of time worrying about it's not like it used to be. Mm-hmm. This is how it is, and you get ready to play as to how it is. And so to me, again, those organizations and those coaching staffs that the players have an immense amount of trust in, it's going to work out. It's going to be just fine. You will still have some guys in there because some guys have workout clauses in their contracts. I mean, and some guys are needing rehab. So it's not. And I heard the word boycott, and I did another show, and I said it's not a boycott because it's voluntary. Yeah. Look, I've been through a strike. I've been through a lockout. I know what those are. This is not that.
Yeah, and I'll say this though: the word boycott kind of goes into it because when players are given an option, they're always going to say yes. If a player is injured, guess what? If a coach asks them, are you okay? They're going to say yes 100% of the time. I think this is them getting together and saying, hey, look, we need to say this together so that nobody's left out and we protect everybody by voting or by boycotting. You know how athletes are. If you ask them to go, they're probably going to go. And
I'll say this, Ramon, and answer me this. And I know you'll because you and I have always talked just real about what's going on.
Yeah.
But no player on a team is going to begrudge somebody that does come in.
No.
Because they'll know that they have their circumstances where they need to be in there. So to me, I mean, you make it work. You make it work and you make it excel in the environment that you are in. This is the environment we are in right now, and it will work.
Okay. Just moving over to the Titans side of the draft, Coach. They're at 22, and at 22, you can either get a guy that's potentially dropped and you expect it, considering it might be 5 quarterbacks moving forward, man. So it might be a guy that you're able to get there. But do you think it's better for them to move back or stay where they're at when it comes to this year's draft and however else they need to fill this team up with the guys that are departed also?
Well, the great thing about that question is they have choices.
Yeah.
And that's what you always want. And look, when you're picking 22, you earn 22 also because you had a good football team.
Facts.
You got to win double-digit games to be down there in the 20s. And so, to me, they've got so much opened up to them. And what I like is what John Robinson and Mike Vrabel and Amy Adams-Strunk did in the off-season, and they did in the free agency period, because they addressed some of the must. I mean, we all knew. Everybody involved and everybody concerned with Titans football knew they had to do something, with their defensive front. They'd start to run out of people, so they addressed that. Now, because of a truncated salary cap this year, they had to lose some players also just because of money. Again, you're in an unprecedented territory with this truncated salary cap this year too. Never in the history of salary caps has one gone down, and this one went down considerably, even more than the difference between last year's ceiling and this year's ceiling, because you were still expecting $10 more million. So add that to it. So really, if you were planning for the future back 2 years ago, you were expecting $25 more million than you have right now. So anyway, but they've got choices, and that's what you want, and especially at that position, because to me, everything is wide open for the Titans in this draft, position-wise. For several going deep into the draft, other than quarterback and running back. I mean, that's just the way I feel. And so they're in a great position.
Dave McGinnis is brought to you by Farm Bureau Health Plans. Need great health care coverage at an affordable price? Let Farm Bureau Health Plans coach you through it. They've got you covered. Coach Mack, a lot of discussion as we wind into the final days before the draft about the overall weakness in this draft top to bottom. And the reason being, so many players have opted to return to college football in 2022, and that includes guys who could have declared early and also seniors who decided to go back for another year, a 5th or a 6th, or in some cases a 7th year. If that's the case, if the back end of this draft is weaker because there just aren't as many players, do you, A, try to gobble up more guys on day 3 of the draft so you can get the best of those players? Or do you maybe try to get out of some picks in day 3, gather more selections in 2022 when the draft is supposedly much deeper, and then just try to sign what you can in terms of the undrafteds?
Well, and that's a very relevant and a pointed question, Mike. But those decisions are decisions that you'd have to make when you're on the clock, because you don't know who's going to be there. I mean, you really don't. And regardless of, weakness is a relative term, and I've heard this for all 35 years I've done the draft. Well, this isn't as strong. But there's always players. There are always players. You are sitting right beside a player right now that didn't even get drafted and played 11 years for a premier franchise in the National Football League, okay? So this is not an exact science. It just really isn't. And so there are always going to be players. And the other thing, Mike, to that question is the pool of players, regardless of how deep or how shallow it is the same for everybody. Mm-hmm. It's exactly the same for everybody. And you really don't know what the pool is going to be next year. You don't know. I mean, you've already started to work on it and project and look forward to it. But to me, you've got to work in the present now. When you get down to a pick and you say, you know, I really believe that somebody is willing to come up and take somebody from us that they really want, and we might be able to get some draft capital next year in the same spot, and we'll take a shot and see who's there, or use it to roll it into something else next year. That's always available to you. But I don't think that you can just make a blanket statement and say, you know what, the bottom of this draft ain't any good, I'm just not going to participate, because you're still going to have to fill 90 people on the roster. And let me just say this, the part of the draft that people don't pay a lot of attention to, but I promise you organizations pay a lot of attention to, and coaches and scouting staffs, is once this draft starts to wind down, that free agency period after the draft, you've seen it in the building, Mike. You've been around that. That's the wild, wild west.
Yes, it is.
And so what you would like to do, you would like to have some of those later round picks to be able to select a player there so that you are not working against 31 other teams trying to get them in that free agency period.
You're worried about today. You're not worried about a year from today.
Well, that's just the way football works.
There you go.
There it is.
Good stuff, Coach Mack. And boy, it's great to visit with you on a Monday. Thanks so much for joining us.
Mike Keith, my pleasure. Look forward to seeing you soon. Ramon, Shafe, thanks, guys.
Yes,
see
sir.
you.
Coach Mack brought to you by Farm Bureau Health Plans, and we thank them for making his visit possible.
Indeed.
And JMart and Ramon on 104.5 The Zone, presented by All Four Seasons Garage Doors. When trust matters, you can count on All Four Seasons Garage Doors in Nashville. Professional garage door installation and repair from a family-owned and operated business. Visit allfourseasonsgarages.com/Nashville to learn more. Your calls, your reaction to Coach Mack. We'd love to have you hit us up on Twitter at JMart and Ramon. We'll continue momentarily on 104.5 The Zone.
Real life awaits Blaine and Mickey.
Real life awaits. Like you push that door open and you peek out of it.
Blaine and Mickey, today from 1 to 3 p.m.
104.5 The Zone.
Hey, it's JMart. I've got Trey Hartsook from Dickens Turf and Landscape Supply. Trey, I'm in my yard this past weekend, and I'm seeing these large things. My wife is telling me they're weeds, and she's asking me to do something about it, and I'm pretty inept when it comes to this. Tell me what I'm looking at and what I need to do.
Well, JMart, the good thing is, bro, you are in the same situation as a lot of people. Let me tell you who you don't want to be, though. You don't want to be that guy that says, well, it's green, so we're just going to roll it. Don't be that guy. Because you can get good turf. And at Dickens Turf and Landscape Supply, that's what we do. We can take your lawn from a clover patch or just a regular field to a lush, green, fescue lawn. We take a lot of pride in that. And JMart, it's the turf plan, dude. I'm telling you, works great. Come in and see us. We'll give you a 12-step process. People say we just don't really want to put in a lot of hard work and learning this stuff. That's okay. It's 12 steps. Get the pre-emergence down. Do your fertilization. Make sure we overseed in the fall. Not real hard, JMart. We're willing to help you out. Turf experts at every location. Stop in and see us. If you can't find us, you're just not looking hard enough. Got a location in Nashville, Cool Springs, Hendersonville, Murfreesboro, Bellevue, Brentwood, Lamar, Mount Juliet, and Franklin. Open it up at 7 a.m., closing at 4:30 Monday through Friday, 8 to 12 on Saturdays. You can't get a hold of us. Check us out online, DickensSupply.com.
Genesis Diamond's first spring sale in 2 years is here this weekend, and they're holding nothing back. Save up to 35% store-wide. Rings, earrings, bands, bracelets, all on sale. Last year's spring extravaganza was canceled, so they're doubling up this year with bigger discounts and expanded selection. Aggressive financing. Designers are here with their entire collections all on sale. Even certified diamond engagement rings are on sale, so don't miss this. Genesis store-wide spring extravaganza Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Green Hills and Cool Springs.
Genesis
Genesis Diamond's spectacular spring extravaganza is here this weekend. 3 days of phenomenal savings store-wide. You save up to 35% off Genesis already guaranteed best prices. Rings, pendants, earrings, bracelets, bands, and more. Plus special financing. This event was canceled last year, so we're making it bigger than ever this year with twice the selection and double the savings. Get sale prices on all new designer jewelry and GIA certified diamonds this Friday through Sunday only, and only at Genesis Diamond, Green Hills and Cool Springs. On approved credit.
If you're looking for flooring and you absolutely positively have to know you're getting the best price, the choice is clear. At Buy Floors Direct, we buy direct from the factory in massive quantities and sell direct to you from our huge, clean warehouse without retail markups. The decor stores and home centers have expensive retail locations, fancy displays, and middlemen costs, and that means you'll pay more. Come in and see why contractors and designers buy their flooring at a Buy Floors Direct warehouse. These pros are always telling us how our quality floors are priced far lower than the retail stores. Our warehouses are full of tile, hardwood, laminate, waterproof floors, and everything you need to install them, including friendly advice. Go to buyfloorsdirect.com or visit a Buy Floors Direct warehouse because there's no reason to ever pay retail for flooring.
Hi, I'm Matt Duchesne, and most of you know I'm a husband, father, proud Nashville Predator, and a huge music fan. But what you might not know is that I'm also a total Ford guy, and my dealership is Two Rivers Ford. I chose Two Rivers because they're honest, upfront, and easy to do business with. They also have non-commissioned salespeople, which is great. I figured when a local business has been around for almost 4 decades, they must be doing something right, eh? So if you're ready for a new Ford, definitely go see my friends at Two Rivers Ford.
Need some cash for that home improvement project or ready to wipe out all that credit card debt? Don Davenport here, and Loan Pronto is where you need to go to make it happen. With their zero-cost refi program, you can refinance your mortgage now and get cash out of your home's equity. People are doing this and getting checks for $20,000, $30,000, $40,000. Now that's a stimulus check. Rates are still super low, and Loan Pronto's all-digital platform makes it easy. They can cover your closing costs. Your home's value is up. That gives you access to lots of cash. Don't put this off. Refi now with Loan Pronto and be credit card debt-free for the summer. You can even skip your next couple of house payments. Get cash out now to fix up that home office or remodel your kitchen. Maybe build a pool. Call now. Ask about Loan Pronto zero-cost cash out refi at 615-499-5780 or loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781. Subject to lender approval. Not available on all loans.
Twin Spire Sportsbook is live in Tennessee, and they're coming out of the starting gates with their best offer yet for new players. With 1 week of risk-free bets up to $1,000. Twin Spires is backed by the same team as the Kentucky Derby, bringing over 140 years of excitement and wagering experience. Just download the Twin Spires app using promo code FREE1000 to get started. Void where prohibited. For terms and conditions, visit twinspires.com. Must be 21 and up and physically present in Tennessee to bet. See full terms and conditions at twinspires.com. For help with a gambling problem, call or text the Tennessee Red Line, 1-800-889-9789.
Southern Trophy House may be our name, but we offer much more than trophies and awards. As a trusted locally owned business with more than 60 years in Nashville, we offer everything promotional to keep your brand visible, such as logoed PPE supplies, embroidered and screen-printed apparel, awards, signs, name badges, and more. Let us handle packing and shipping directly to your customers or employees, delivering top-quality items your business needs to be recognized. Give us a call today at 615-256-7295 or online at southerntrophy.com.
If you're suffering with back pain, the Disc Center of Franklin is there to give you the relief you need. Hey, it's Mickey Ryan. The next 25 callers get an exam, x-rays, a complete review of findings, and first treatment for just $35. Call the Disc Center of Franklin now, 615-551-9224.
From the 104.5 The Zone Traffic Center.
Laverne, 24 westbound before Waldron Road. Watch for an accident blocking the left shoulder. Westbound before Hickory Hollow Parkway, an accident investigation blocks the right shoulder. And downtown, 24 eastbound after Shelby Avenue, we've got a crash in the left lane. Stop and go traffic from 65. Whites Creek Pike, there's an accident north of Coopertown Road. This report brought to you by Audible. Give spring a whole new sound with Audible Plus. Listen all you want to thousands of select Audible originals, audiobooks, and podcasts, including exclusive series. Start a free 30-day Audible Plus trial when you sign up at audible.com. I'm Christy O'Brien with traffic on your home for Titans football. 104.5 The Zone.
Titans fans, take a tour of 104.5 The Zone's 2021 mock draft, and then submit who you think the Tennessee Titans will select in the first round of the draft for a chance to win a prize pack from Chattanooga Whiskey. To go, well, just go to 1045thezone.com/contests. 1045 The Zone mock draft presented by Chattanooga Whiskey. JMart and Ramon, Mike Keith sitting in with Ramon Foster. Glad to have you with us.
Yes, indeed. We are.
Coach Mack says a lot of interesting things. There's always so much to unpack from a Coach Mack conversation. The last part of it is going to be such a key in this draft, though, because the analysts, as they talk to NFL people, the feeling truly is the back end of this draft will feature a lot of players who get drafted in rounds 6 and 7 who in a normal year would be undrafted.
Yeah.
And that's because there aren't as many players available for this draft.
Or in a normal year.
In a normal year, there will be hundreds more players that are available from whom to pick.
Even just the combine invite this year.
Right.
Is lesser.
Sure.
The campus visits. As far as we talked about it earlier, the small schools, the teams that have college playoffs, as Coach Mack says, teams that just finished up seasons, as far as they play the spring ball.
Sure.
So you have to evaluate that, or those guys are going to go back for another year. It's the opportunity to get another year in college for some of these guys, We got JG, who went to Washington State from the University of Tennessee.
Well, look at how many guys did what Garantano did in choosing to go back for another year. I don't know that he would have been drafted, but I feel like he would have been an undrafted player who would have signed to go to camp somewhere.
A Tyler Bray type, potentially.
Yeah, I mean, he would have had a chance to have a chance to get in a camp, but he certainly would have been among the pool. For example, I started working on draft prospects 10 months ago.
Wow.
I started, didn't have a lot to do last summer. Okay, 64 of the players that I wrote up, just from my standpoint, which are just to know the names, chose to go back to school. Wow. Now, I'm not in the weeds on the deep guys who are prospects. I'm talking about these are mostly name guys who have had their names laid out somewhere at this point. A good example of that, Matthew Butler at Tennessee.
Yes.
Defensive lineman, was thought to be a third-day pick in the 2021 draft, chooses to go back to Tennessee.
Yep.
Okay? So because he chooses to go back to Tennessee, he's not available in this draft. The point being, I think with teams having salary cap room where it is right now, which is low, you are going to need a lot of rookies to make your roster.
Yes, you are.
So if that's the case, your third-day picks had better be as good as – I think there is more pressure on NFL teams to make good third-day picks than maybe I've ever seen.
Yes, it is. And, again, we talk about this a little bit on air, not in this depth, but those are what you call your core guys.
Right.
And they better be, is what you're saying, core guys this year, this next year's draft also. Even some last year to where those guys fill in spots. Your special teamers.
Got to step in.
Your fourth or fifth wide receiver, honestly. The spell rusher, okay? A guy in the 6th round who's a developmental guard, center.
Right.
Injury rate is 100% at some position. The interior 3, you're going to need a guy that can play guard, center, guard.
That's right.
Okay? You're going to have a young guy if you draft him in the, let's say, even 5th round. That, hey, we can at least get his talent to show. That's because that's what this holds. This is the way, because there's a lot of vets right now that are unsigned.
And they're not going to get signed because teams aren't going to have the money.
Until after possibly opening day. Where the contract's not guaranteed.
Right. That's exactly right. There are going to be a lot of quality players who are going to be available in week 2 at bargain basement prices. But to get you there, you're going to need 8, 9, 10 rookies to make your team. And so for the Titans, You're talking about pick number 100, which is actually a third-round pick. That's a supplemental.
It's still good.
But it's still good.
Yeah.
But you need to be good right there.
Hit. Yeah.
126, which is a fourth-round pick. 166, which is a fifth-round pick. And then 205 and 215, which are sixth-round picks. And then 232, which is the early seventh-round pick. And, if you can hit – say, how many is that? That's 6.
Yeah.
If you could hit 3 or 4 there, and John Robinson historically has been great in the fifth round in his time with the Titans.
Right.
I mean, you look at the fifth rounders that he has been able to get since he became GM. In 16, Tajay Sharp and LaShawn Sims.
Yeah.
Jayon Brown was a fifth-round pick. Dane Cruikshank was a fifth-round pick. David Long was an early sixth-round pick.
Yeah.
If you're able to hit in that area, that is a big, big deal because the quality of the undrafteds, it's probably just not going to be as deep.
It's not. And I'm looking at the 2019 draft, man. Hunter Renfrow is a guy who's becoming an emerging wide receiver in the Las Vegas Raiders offense, man. I'm just going through some names of some guys that, like you said, you got to be able to hit. Benny Snell is a guy that Kentucky is a running back. Yep. You get those type of guys, man, in those later rounds. Jared Stidham is also that type of guy.
Sure.
But he was talked about as far as being the transition after Tom Brady, though, which is what you're saying. These aren't throwaway picks.
No. Well, they
and especially not this year.
I mean, I just don't think you're taking as many risks. You're taking surer things. Maybe not guys who project in some ways if you feel like they can hit that roster spot. We've got another hour to go.
Yeah, we do.
We're going to talk about a team in hour number 3 that is really going to help turn this draft towards the Titans. Hour number 4, actually. We're just rolling.
We're rolling.
You
forgot. Yeah.
We're rolling. Dallas Cowboys, the voice of the Cowboys, the legend, the godfather, Brad Sham will join us coming up. JMart and Ramon on 104.5 The Zone.
Get the lowdown on the hottest team in the NHL right here. The best Preds coverage can be found on 104.5 The Zone.
This is Boomer Science with the CBS Sports Minute. Today's birthday shout-out goes to Frank Viola. When Mets fans watch Jacob deGrom and rehabbing Noah Syndergaard mow down opponents, they can thank Frank, the East Meadow, Long Island native coach deGrom at Class A Savannah, and then polished Syndergaard at AAA Las Vegas. In addition to winning 20 games for the Mets back in 1990 and Game 7 of the 1987 World Series for the Twins against the Cardinals, Viola also outlasted Ron Darling in the legendary 1981 St. John's Yale playoff game that featured 22 innings of scoreless pitching. But don't get him started about the new rules MLB is experimenting with in the Atlantic League. It's horrendous, he told Newsday. It's just a shame that these kids have to be the guinea pigs for something that will never, ever exist on the major league level. So happy 61st birthday, sweet music. I'm Boomer Esiason.
Hey everybody, Jay Farner here, CEO of Rocket Mortgage and Rocket Companies. Last year, we saw historically low mortgage interest rates. In fact, over 1 million homeowners took advantage of refinancing or buying a new home with Rocket Mortgage. What you may not know is that interest rates are already starting to increase again, and it's likely that trend is only going to continue. Our team of experts is standing by to help you save before rates go up. With an official mortgage review from Rocket Mortgage, you'll see just how much money you could save by making a move right now. Don't look back over these next few weeks and wish that you had taken action. You could save hundreds on your mortgage payments or pay off your home loan earlier than planned. You could even take cash out of your home to pay off high-interest debt, complete home repairs, or bulk up on an emergency fund. When you want to secure a low rate, Rocket can. Call 833-8ROCKET or visit rocketmortgage.com.
Rocket. Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender licensed in all 50 states and MLSConsumerAccess.org number 3030.
I love your new home. How did you find this neighborhood?
It's a Partners in Building neighborhood. There are 5 of them, all around Brentwood and Franklin. Our home is on an acre, but they have communities with 3 acres or even 5 acres.
Partners in Building, huh? They built this gorgeous home?
Partners in Building did everything. They designed the plans, helped us choose all the stuff, and every step went really smooth.
We've been thinking about building. How did you get started?
Easy. Go to partnersinbuilding.com or call 615-486-4009.
Every day we encounter non-emergencies, blocked sidewalks, abandoned cars, noisy neighbors. None are good, but none are true emergencies either. Metro Nashville 911 dispatchers receive over 11,000 non-emergency calls each month that should be going to 311 instead. These calls waste valuable time that could be used saving lives. So the next time you need to report an emergency, make the right call. 911 for real emergencies. 311 for everything that's not.
Some things are just true, like your local Geico agent could save you hundreds. And also, you should never sneak up on a beekeeper.
Hey, beekeeper!
What the? Oh my gosh! Oh my bees! Oh no, they're headed right for the balloon factory.
Your local Geico agent could help you save 15% or more. It's just true.
The headlines have hit the news, claiming shortages of vehicles in Middle Tennessee, not at Music City Autoplex. Their exceptional wholesale buying ability has allowed them to increase inventory to meet your needs like no other dealership. More late model, low mileage choices, more financing options, more SUVs, more trucks, more sedans. So visit Music City Autoplex today and find more of what you want in a vehicle purchase experience. See why Music City Autoplex is growing and why they are the uncommon dealership. Located at 2430 Gallatin Pike or online at musiccityautoPlex.com.
BetMGM welcomes you to Showtime with a risk-free first bet up to $600. Simply sign up and use bonus code MGM600 and you're on your way to betting with the king of sportsbooks. Plus, with BetMGM's new one-game parlay feature, you can choose from hundreds of bet types and combinations within a single game to build the perfect parlay. All the action on all your favorite sports will be at your fingertips when you download the app or go to BetMGM.com and use bonus code MGM600 to make your first bet risk-free up to $600. Bet with confidence and turn game day into payday at BetMGM. New customer offer, paid in free bets. Must be 21 years or older. Must be in Tennessee. Visit BetMGM.com for full list of terms and conditions. For problem gambling support, call the Tennessee Red Line at 800-889-9789.
Brentwood Jewelry has been a locally owned family business since 1967. This family business is the place you can trust with your family heirlooms, engagement rings, luxury watches, and custom pieces. With Salem and Son Brandon in the store daily to help you find that perfect gift and offering quality products with top-notch customer service. So choose Brentwood Jewelry for all of your celebrations, engagements, graduations, and anniversaries. Brentwood Jewelry, located in the heart of Brentwood on Church Street, just off Franklin Road. Exceptional style, exceptional deals every day for more than 50 years. Visit BrentwoodJewelry.com.
The VA loan is one of the best benefits of being in the military. You can refinance and cash out up to 100% of your home's equity. Get the loan you deserve and apply online today at HeroLoan.com. The only way to VA. NMLS number 1326241.
Oak Grove Gaming is now open. Visit oakgrovegaming.com.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
From the 104.5 The Zone Traffic Center.
Laverne, 24 westbound before Waldron Road. We've got an accident blocking the left shoulder. Downtown, 24 eastbound after Shelby Avenue. There's a crash in the left lane. Watch for stop-and-go traffic from 65. Shelby Avenue at South 8th Street. We've got a crash being cleared. And Whites Creek Pike, there's an accident north of Coopertown Road. This report brought to you by Gatorade. Purchase any Gatorade product at MAPCO and enter to win weekly prizes through MAPCO's My Rewards app. Now through May 3rd, win a $200 Fanatics gift card or the grand prize Gatorade swag bag. Grab a Gatorade at your local MAPCO today. I'm Christy O'Brien with traffic on your home for Titans football. 104.5 The Zone.
From the Mark Spain Real Estate Studios, this is your Titans NFL Draft Station. WGFX Gallatin, Nashville. Trending now at 104.5 The Zone.
Good morning. It is 9:01. I'm Jonathan Schaefer. Nashville Predators host the Chicago Blackhawks tonight. Puck drop at 7 o'clock. The Preds trying to snap a 2-game losing streak. Lost 3 of their last 5. That was after winning 13 of 16 games. The Braves' big win against the Chicago Cubs, 13-4 yesterday, hit 4 home runs in the first inning alone. The Braves improved to 7-9. Speaking of baseball, the college variety, Vanderbilt outslugged the Vols 10-4 on Sunday to take 2 of 3 from that weekend series in Knoxville. Alex Bowman won at Richmond in NASCAR, and 47-year-old Stuart Sink captured his 3rd RBC Heritage title in his career, winning by 4 strokes. Also his second win of the season. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and the Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Do I have everybody's attention now?
Now it's time for Jason Martin and Vol for Life Ramon Foster.
Powered by all Four Seasons Garage Doors.
Together, they are JMart and Ramon on 104.5 The Zone.
Mike Keith sitting in for Jason Martin with Ramon Foster. We've enjoyed 3 hours with you this morning. Another one to go. Lots to talk about with you at 615-737-1045. Appreciate all the comments on Twitter at JMart and Ramon.
Yeah.
Going to talk with the voice of the Dallas Cowboys, Brad Sham, coming up later this hour. Cowboys going to turn the first round in some way because they have the 10th pick. So there's going to be a lot to unpack with Brad Sham coming up. Some news out of the University of Tennessee being reported by Austin Price from VolQuest.com. Joe Milton is in the UT student directory and is active. He is a quarterback from Pahokee, Florida, who spent the last 3 years at Michigan.
Wow.
So if that all bears fruit, another quarterback in the Vol signal caller room as they get ready to head toward the orange and white game this weekend. I think as important a spring game as I can ever remember from the Vols for this reason.
And
let me give you the quick reason. This is going to be the first time Josh Heupel and staff, Alex Golish, everybody, particularly on the offensive side of the ball, have something to sell. Right now, with where Tennessee has been, which is nowhere, unfortunately for the Vols.
Pains me, but yeah.
I know. I mean, we're being real, aren't we?
Yes, we are. 100%. We have to be.
Being real, you need something to sell. What are they going to sell? They're going to sell this offense. And people are going to have a chance to see some of it this weekend. Now, it's not going to be full-fledged, but the young people, the high school coaches, the parents are going to have a chance to see a lot more of the concept of this. A fun day at the orange and white game would help give them something to sell as they go into recruiting. They got a couple commitments last week, but this is part of the challenge.
Yeah, it is. And like you said, it's on full display. As Tennessee, you said we got a couple of commitments. We also lost a couple this weekend, too. The twins.
Wade twins.
Yeah, chose Kentucky this past weekend, and that's the battle that Heupel and his staff are going to have to fight because it's a lot of in-state talent, a whole lot.
A lot of mid-state, in-state talent.
Yes, indeed, okay? And for those reasons, that's why, as you said, the orange and white games becomes a recruiting tool, especially here, especially for Georgia, North Carolina, all the surrounding states that are easily accessible to Knoxville because, as you said, for the first time, you can see it on full display. And this weekend is huge. We will be there this weekend, okay? And just see what this staff has to offer. And if more than anything, you get a chance to say, okay, we get an opportunity to see what this defense is going to be about, which is going to be a big question for us also. But more or less, it comes down to the way the game is played. As you said, this offense now. If you're a skill guy in the state, which Tennessee has a ton of them, and even the years after this recruiting class, you're going to say, I want my in-state guys to stay in-state, and this is what we have to offer you. Look at what we're doing. Whether it's good, bad, or indifferent, they're going to get some answers this weekend or either going – I hope, because we're both alumni of the University of Tennessee, that they gain some traction, man, because I do want to see Heupel be successful. Why? Because I do love the University of Tennessee. But in the same sense, there is a standard, and we haven't met up for – we hadn't met it in a while, okay?
Heupel has impressed me.
Okay.
And it's like Clark Lee at Vanderbilt has impressed me too. I think both have done a nice job building enthusiasm around their programs. Image. The kids are excited about what they're doing. They're saying the right things. And that's all great. But that ain't beating Alabama.
No.
That ain't beating Georgia. That ain't beating Florida.
No.
Right now, that ain't beating Kentucky.
Ole
Miss or South Carolina. I mean, that's great. So you've got to have that.
Yes.
And I think the desire to, especially for Heupel as the better example, not putting a fence around his program has been incredibly wise.
Yes.
Not going with this CIA, FBI, you can't see my team. We've got lots of secrets. I mean, everybody needs to see what they're doing right now and get the feel for it, because it's all you have to sell right now.
Again, like you said, the secret with Heupel and his crew is there is no secret.
Right.
Okay.
And that's a good thing.
It is a good thing. And it's needed, beyond needed right now where we stand as a university, as a football university.
But you need enthusiasm. Like they're doing this thing, the juice, this online, behind-the-scenes thing that they're doing. So smart.
Yes, very much
They
so.
have this incredible film department there. Best in the country. I mean, they're phenomenal.
Killing it.
And Heupel says, hey, put a mic on me. Follow me everywhere. I don't care.
Yep.
So smart.
Yes.
So smart to let the kids and the parents and everybody and the fan base feel your enthusiasm. And here's the thing. Tennessee's schedule in 2021 is not impossible.
No, it's not.
They could end up having an okay year, make a bowl game, and could build some momentum.
Yeah.
They need anything to build momentum. And the orange and white game, for a change, is a big momentum moment for Josh Heupel and crew.
It is. And I think the selling point is just this, too. As you said, you mentioned bowl game, and I went, why? Because of the sanctions. Okay, we don't know what that's going to be.
May not be over by then.
I know, and this is the thing, though, too. You're hoping that Heupel and his staff, this new regime at Tennessee, has opened themselves up so much that the NCAA has just said, okay, this ain't a you thing, and I understand it, so we may be a little bit easier on you guys. The other part, which we don't know how that's going to turn out.
Don't know.
But the other part is you get an opportunity to show who they are. And it might look cheesy. We've seen some people that don't like all the videos or doing the blindfolded trust me stuff during the spring and whatnot. But at the same time, that's what you need, because this athlete that you're recruiting in this day and age, they've all been on the internet. They all want to see the show. They want to see the highlight. They want to know that you are with me, meaning, look, you're not above me, okay? You know what I mean by coaches that don't want anything to do with their guys. Heupel is in the fire with these dudes, okay? He's doing the blindfolded stuff. He's showing that, look, I'm relatable. And I don't think it's a false thing. Everything I've heard about him from people inside and outside that building is
good dude.
The guy you see is the guy you're going to get.
Good dude. Well, here's something that I saw as a parent. You're a parent, too.
Yeah.
So the fellas went to the baseball game the other night.
Oh, man.
The football team went to the Tennessee-Vanderbilt baseball game on Friday night, the biggest baseball game in the country.
Yep, it was.
And it was a great series, by the way. Vanderbilt proves they're the number one team in the country. Tennessee proves they're probably a top 10 team.
Yep.
Great weekend of SEC baseball. But if I'm a parent, I like seeing the fellas all together at the baseball game.
Yep.
They're having a good time. That's bonding. Not only is it supporting their fellow student athletes, but that's a good time.
Yes.
And those sorts of things cannot be ignored at this point if you're Tennessee, because you don't have 7 wins to come off of. You don't. I mean, you've got to take every positive you can and accentuate it. And I think they have made every possible step they could from that standpoint, which is what they needed to do. If he had come in like Pruitt and said, we're doing everything under a veil of secrecy, like an NFL team, and listen, and it's moved in that direction. But now all of a sudden, so the media can see practice. What happens? They write a story.
Yeah.
They write a story about, hey, what about Jabari Small? He looks good in practice.
Yes.
Tennessee desperately needs that.
They do. I'm looking at an article now. It's just talking about who was it? Heupel believes freshman wide receiver will be a special player here. Like, we hadn't heard that type of stuff in a while, Mike. It's just so much that goes into what he's allowing himself to do. These virtual player days, recruiting days, junior days. Like, they're ahead of the game in this. And again, some people may not have liked this hire and say, why would you get this guy and all those type of things. I think we'll see in hindsight, at least I hope, that they were right on this one, considering where the game is going. All things aside, he's not too proud, he or his staff. Heupel and his staff at Tennessee, they're not too proud. I feel like they know internally where they are with everything that they're faced with. And as many players as they can get out of this portal and keep a part of this team. That team at that game, which I watched this past weekend versus Vandy Tennessee baseball game, it looked like they were a team finally, man. They actually enjoyed being around each other. That says a lot.
And again, you don't have the history to sell because when most of these 17-year-olds were coming up, for most of their lives, Tennessee has not – the Peyton Manning era is – the Ramon Foster era, unfortunately, is gone. So you got to hang your hat on something. If you're Tennessee, you're going to hang it on this offense, and you need to let people see it.
That freshman wide receiver, by the way, Walker Merrill. He's an early
He's from Brentwood. He got hurt this weekend, though. Walker Merrill might have been the biggest steal in this class.
Love it.
Might have been. I think he plays this fall, having seen a little of him at Brentwood. But the bottom line
I've heard about him for years.
He's a stud. He's a better player than what he's regarded, in my opinion. Anyway, more coming up. Brad Sham on the way. We're going to talk about the first round of this draft and the Dallas Cowboys and how things are going to turn on the Cowboys. The Godfather himself, the Godfather of NFL announcers, my personal idol. Brad Sham on the way. 104.5 The Zone. JMart and Ramon continues.
When Buck Rising defends John Robinson, he dishes the facts.
It's not that I'm here to blindly defend John Robinson. I'm here to defend John Robinson because John Robinson's track record demands that I defend John Robinson. These are just the facts.
Buck Rising, today, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. on 104.5 The Zone.
Masvidal and Usman put on the show the last time they stepped in the octagon. And guess what? Round 2 is sure to pack a punch. So, DraftKings Sportsbook, the official sports betting partner of UFC, is putting you in the center of this weekend's title fight with 26-1 odds on either title contender to reign victorious. Pick either main event fighter to win during this weekend's UFC 256 title fight, and DraftKings Sportsbook will give you 26-1 odds. Just bet $5 on either fighter to win, and if they walk out with the belt, you will cash in $130. There's no better way to put your MMA knowledge to test than to put your money where your mouth is with DraftKings Sportsbook. And don't worry if MMA is for you. Sometimes you might pronounce the fighter's name wrong, and that's okay too, all right? But DraftKings Sportsbook offers great odds and promotions on basketball, hockey, and so much more. And this is the thing that gets you. DraftKings is safe, secure, and reliable, so you can deposit and withdraw your funds at your convenience. Download the top-rated DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use promo code WGFX when you sign up to turn $5 into $130 if the title contender of your choice wins. Place your bet and watch the fists fly this weekend. That's code WGFX to turn $5 into $130 if the fighter of your choosing takes home the crown. For a limited time, only at the DraftKings Sportsbook. Must be 21 years and older or present in Tennessee. Restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. And if you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants or need help, honestly, call or text the Tennessee Red Line at 1-800-889-9789.
Some things are just true, like your local Geico agent could save you hundreds. And also, 2-year-olds will always ask, why?
It's lunchtime.
Why?
Because you're hungry.
Why?
Because humans need food.
Why?
Because we convert it to energy, blood, and muscle and bone.
Why?
Because I love you.
Your local Geico agent could help you save 15% or more. It's just true.
Genesis Diamond's first spring sale in 2 years is here this weekend, and they're holding nothing back. Save up to 35% store-wide. Rings, earrings, bands, bracelets, all on sale. Last year's spring extravaganza was canceled, so they're doubling up this year with bigger discounts and expanded selection. Aggressive financing. Designers are here with their entire collections all on sale. Even certified diamond engagement rings are on sale, so don't miss this. Genesis store-wide spring extravaganza Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Green Hills and Cool Springs.
Genesis Diamond's spectacular spring extravaganza is here this weekend. 3 days of phenomenal savings store-wide. You save up to 35% off Genesis already guaranteed best prices. Rings, pendants, earrings, bracelets, bands, and more. Plus special financing. This event was canceled last year, so we're making it bigger than ever this year with twice the selection and double the savings. Get sale prices on all new designer jewelry and GIA certified diamonds. This Friday through Sunday only, and only at Genesis Diamond, Green Hills and Cool Springs. On approved credit.
Hey, homeowners, if your current mortgage rate is over 3%, you can save a ton of money with Loan Pronto's zero-cost refi. It's Dawn Davenport from 3HL. Even if you just refinanced your mortgage in 2020, do it again now. Snag an even lower rate with Loan Pronto. And if you act now, Loan Pronto can pay your closing costs too. Rates have started moving up, but these are still some of the lowest rates in the country. So act now, lock in that lower house payment, or get cash out of your equity. Loan Pronto makes it so easy they can close in 3 to 4 weeks with no paperwork, no big bank hassle. Plus, Loan Pronto can cover all of your closing costs. That's no points, no junk fees. In fact, most Loan Pronto refis don't even require an appraisal. Call now. Ask about the Loan Pronto zero-cost refi. 615-499-5780. Do it now. Even skip your next 2 house payments. LoanPronto.com, 615-499-5780. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781. Subject to lender approval. No cash refi not available on all loans.
Thanks for calling 1-800-GOT-JUNK. This is Sarah. How can I help?
I knew it, but I thought it was elves.
Uh-oh.
Do you remember me?
Sure I do. You called last year because you thought our truck team members wear caps to hide their elf ears.
But you don't use elves. You use fairies.
What makes you say that?
I met Charlotte. What a delight.
You met Charlotte?
First I pointed, then the junk disappeared. But the sparkle sound came a little bit late. So I said, you should probably make that sparkle sound a little bit quicker.
And then what happened?
And then Charlotte materialized out of thin air and said,
never hesitate to trade your cow for a handful of magic beans.
How did you know that?
When you give a fairy advice, they have to give you advice in return.
I love 1-800-GOT-JUNK.
When you want junk to disappear,
all you have to do is point.
Call 1-800-GOT-JUNK
or visit us at 1-800-GOT-JUNK.com.
Hi, this is Lance Drury with the Lance Drury Law Firm here in Nashville. I've been warning our clients that IRS employees are back at work since mid-July, and their collection efforts have ramped up. Well, sure enough, it looks like it's happening. So if you have unfiled tax returns, wage levies, bank levies, or tax liens, now's the time to call the Lance Drury Law Firm before the IRS calls you. Tax resolution plans are based off your current income. So if your current income is less than normal due to the COVID-19 pandemic, this is precisely the time for the Lance Drury Law Firm to help you. Your consultation is free, so don't put it off. The Lance Drury Law Firm focuses solely on tax resolution law. It's all we do. And if you have IRS problems, you have legal problems. Let us use our tax law resolution experience to guide you and work on your custom resolution plan. Call now. It's free and confidential. Call me, Lance Drury, at 615-733-8168 or go to LanceDruryLaw.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. This sports hour brought to you by TrainInfo.com.
Get a great deal this spring on a new Train heating and cooling system. At Train, we test so it runs. Visit TrainInfo.com to find your local dealer and learn more. It's hard to stop a train.
Listen to your home for Titans football from your home or office live. Simply say, Alexa, play 104.5 The Zone.
The Dallas Cowboys went 6-10 in 2020. Mike McCarthy, in his second year as the head coach, new defensive coordinator is Dan Quinn, the former Falcons head coach. We're joined now by the longtime voice of the Dallas Cowboys, associated with this franchise since 1976, Brad Sham. Welcome to 104.5 The Zone.
Mr. Keith, what a great honor and pleasure for me to be with you.
Godfather, thank you for taking the time.
Anything for you, pal. You know it.
Okay, so I want to just mention one thing to our fans who have been fans of the NFL for a long time. The Cowboys' lineage, as far as announcers, is incredible. Tell me if I've got this right. Frank Gleber was on with Vern Lundquist, and then Frank Gleber goes to CBS, yes?
Well,
close?
Frank.
Okay.
Actually, they were there together. I worked with Frank, God rest his soul.
Yeah.
He was full-time at the radio station, KRLD, that carried the games. But Vern was really the play-by-play voice. What Frank did was Tom Landry's TV show and Tex Schramm's TV show. He was very close to both of them. And Vern was the play-by-play announcer, but because Frank was the big dog, if there was ever that rare week where CBS didn't have him doing something, I mean, from the time I knew him in the middle 70s, Frank was working for CBS. He did golf, he did football, he did whatever, mostly the NFL. But every now and then there's a week where he's not working or the Cowboys are playing on Monday night. And so whenever Frank wanted to do the game, Vern had to not do it. And so they never, I don't think they ever did Cowboys broadcasts together. They may have done one a half and the other half, but I don't believe they ever were a broadcast team.
Frank was regarded as one of the great broadcasters, great sportscasters of the 70s, early 80s, passes away suddenly of a heart attack, correct?
Running at the Cooper Clinic, the world-famed Cooper Clinic, Frank, I certainly identify with this, Frank's weight yo-yoed, and it was 1985, and he was running at the Cooper Clinic and had a heart attack, and I think he was dead before he hit the ground.
So then Vern takes over his role with CBS, basically.
Yeah, actually, that happened. Yeah, right. Well, Vern had just moved to CBS because I came in the middle of the '76 season, and I did color on the road, and Bob Lilly that year had just retired, and he didn't want to travel, so he did color the home games, and I did pre, half, and post, and then Bob didn't want to do that anymore in 77. So from 77 through 83, Vern and I were the broadcast team, and in the summer of 84, CBS moved Vern from college football to the NFL.
Wow.
And that's when I took over play-by-play full-time.
That's amazing. Frank Gleber, Vern Lundquist, and Brad Sham. And Brad Sham is our guest on JMart and Ramon here on 104.5 The Zone. And been there ever since, seen a lot of exciting things with the Dallas Cowboys. Last year was a surprise, though. Everybody thought the Mike McCarthy thing was a home run. And then the year did not go as the Cowboys had hoped. How much of it was transition, and then how much of it was directly related to Dak Prescott and the early injury?
Well, they were horrible on defense before Dak got hurt. My personal opinion is, Mike, that the pandemic, some people just handled it better, and they didn't handle it well at all. This is my opinion. There were other new coaching staffs. Cleveland is a great example that did. You know, the Giants were horrible also. They lost Saquon Barkley early. But I think that what happened to them last year was that when everything shut down, just before all of the, as you well remember, all of the off-season programs and on-the-field work and everything would have begun. They just didn't react to that well. They didn't know how to handle it, and nobody had any experience with it. But so I think that they did not adjust to that well. They might very well have been well advised when they got a little bit into realizing they weren't going to be on the field with their players until whatever training camp was going to look like, to change what they wanted to do defensively. Their talent wasn't great defensively, and the coaching made it 100% worse. They just didn't understand. And I'm not that I'm qualified to say what they ought to have done differently, but clearly they were doing things. You can be bad. You can be average. You don't have to be the worst you've ever been in the history of the franchise. And that's what they were. And there were players who did not seem to understand their roles. There was no cohesion. Now, when Prescott was off to this great start that he was off to, I say great start, you know, he and Elliott were turning the ball over like they were getting paid by the turnover for a while, and which put both sides of the ball under more pressure. But once he went out, that just changed everything. And as you well know, Mike, if you look back at the end of a season and you've started 4 different quarterbacks, that's not going to be good.
Yeah. Brad, this is Ramon Foster.
Thank
you for joining us today. And as before you came on, Mike just said you were one of his idols. I just got to throw that out there, okay?
Mike's got to raise the bar a little.
Oh, good. I'm glad to be in a conversation with you two. And I just got to ask you this, as, he was just going through the lineage of, Dallas Cowboys announcers and just the weight that it holds. And you guys are a team that's known worldwide. There's a few organizations that are known like this. And when you talk about, the expectation of the Dallas Cowboys and what it means to win and lose there, as someone who covers the Cowboys and have seen their ups and downs, just explain to, I guess, the listeners who, may not like the Cowboys, but what does that pressure mean, for a guy like yourself and that team, honestly?
Well, Ramon, it's a really insightful question, and I think that, I don't know if anybody listening is a big fan of international soccer, but if anybody can read what's going on in Europe right now with the biggest clubs in Europe threatening to form a super league and turn over the entire structure of how they've played. In European soccer, and particularly in Britain, they call those being at a big club. I'm a big Manchester United fan, but Manchester United and Arsenal and Liverpool and some of the Cowboys are a big club. Mm-hmm. And there's no doubt that their success that began really on the field, it actually, once Staubach came in and they started doing some stuff in the late 60s, and then they in the 70s, of course, they won a lot and they were in championship games through the 80s. Well, these folks down here don't need much to spoil them. And so there's no such thing. And I think it might be in the water because I did University of Texas games for a couple of years, and those fans are exactly the same. And I understand I'm talking to SEC territory, and every SEC school, or most of them anyway, feels like somebody has besmirched the divinity if their football team doesn't win.
Yeah.
It's kind of like that, actually, Ramon. It's really kind of like that. But since the 70s and all that success, and then part of the genius of Tex Schramm and Gil Brandt and Tom Landry was the way they replaced players. So Don Meredith, who was the first really great quarterback in the history of the franchise, and took them from nothing to the lip of the cup and set it up for Staubach. And then no one talks about Danny White, but when Staubach retired, Danny White had his team in the championship game the first 3 years as a starter. Up to that point, nobody had ever done that.
Wow.
And then you run down through the years, and, it took a while, and you get to Aikman, and then Romo obviously was successful. Now Prescott's good. So they always had a way of doing that. Lilly retired, they had Randy White. And they just had a way of finding these guys and replacing them, and they always did it with exciting players. And as television became more impactful and more accessible all over the country, now you turn on your TV and you're seeing Dorsett and Staubach and all of these guys. Well, since that time, I'm actually going to answer your question, believe it or not. Since that time, eyes have been riveted to this franchise. Mm-hmm. That doesn't mean everybody likes them. In fact, I've never seen sports hate like most folks around the country have for the Dallas Cowboys. And that's okay. Mm-hmm. It was okay with Tex Schramm. Just don't not talk about me. I don't care what you say, but say something.
Right.
And because he was a marketing genius, and clearly Jerry Jones has stepped right in and maybe upped the ante a little bit. Well, when that happens, and when the culture of a city is so wrapped up in the success of a sports franchise, then everything's magnified. Yeah. And then you add to that the explosion of the internet in the last decade or so. Twitter, and you guys both know it, all you have to do, it's the most amazing thing about the American economy to me is that the number of unemployed coaches. I'm amazed that any coach in the NFL or major college football ever makes a mistake because they have more help and advice for free. All I got to do is touch a button.
There you go.
And there's no filter, and everybody knows everything. Once upon a time, it was just television.
Yep.
And then it was talk radio, and now it's the internet, and now it's everywhere. And so you literally can't take a step. You cannot hiccup if you are or have been a Dallas Cowboy and not expect to have it be a headline on the front page. That adds pressure to the performance. I don't care what any athlete says. Now, for someone reporting it, all we can do is what we can do. We understand that the people who are listening to us, Mike and I both know the people who are listening to us, they are heavily emotionally invested in the team that we're describing. And so Mike knows that I think it's his philosophy, it's mine, that we owe every single listener the best, best and fairest description that we can possibly give them. Vern and I, when we worked together, nobody ever said we. And if somebody accidentally said we, the other one would say, "Is there a mouse in your pocket?" Because we don't put on a pad. We don't put on a helmet. I've never blocked or tackled anyone. And I'm not afraid of being fairly critical. Vern and I used to say, and I have maintained it, Ramon, through the current day, that we did those broadcasts objectively from the Cowboys' point of view.
That's exactly right.
Okay.
And what I've found is that fans appreciate it because they're looking at the product and they don't want to be lied to and they don't want to whitewash. And frankly, the players and the coaches don't have a problem with anything you say that's fair. They might not like hearing it, but they know when they screwed up.
Yes.
And if it's fair, they're okay with it. As long as you don't make it personal and don't act like you know more than them, then you're going to be okay. So when it comes to covering a team of this magnitude, that the magnitude of it never really enters my mind because I'm trying to do the same job, and I've done professional soccer and college wrestling, and if you just do your best and treat every listener like they're important because they are, every viewer with respect, then the magnitude of the team doesn't matter. Now, one of my dear friends is Eric Nadel, the Hall of Fame radio voice of the Texas Rangers, and he and I have been doing these jobs for about the same time. And one of the things that I marvel at with Eric, and I worked with him for 3 years. I didn't do the Cowboys for 3 years. In the 90s, I did the Rangers with Eric. And you cannot tell, listening to him, what his emotions are, unless they win a big game, someone makes a big play, and his voice will rise, and he's happy. But he will describe it. He'll be very efficient, descriptive, go to break, and then he would turn to me and say, "God, we suck." But you couldn't tell that on the air. If you listen to me, you know when I'm disgusted. I don't hide it very well.
Let me ask you about.
I don't think. I'm sorry, Mike. Ramon, I really don't think that the magnitude of the team changes that. I just don't.
Okay. That's awesome.
Brad Sham is our guest. The Cowboys are one of the teams, Brad, that I believe the first round is going to turn upon based on the fact the Cowboys have pick number 10. They have a lot of needs on defense, but we're reading that Jerry Jones is enamored with Kyle Pitts, the fantastic tight end from Florida. We probably have to go up to get him. The Cowboys have a lot of draft capital. What do you think the Cowboys have in mind right now? Where do you think they are?
How long have you been covering the NFL draft closely?
24 years.
And so I think that you are qualified to offer an opinion on my opinion that if any NFL executive from mid-March to the end of the draft speaks, it's safe to presume they're lying.
But Jerry does get enamored. You will admit that.
Sure.
Yeah.
Have you seen Pitts play?
Yes, I have.
Yeah.
I'm
you not
enamored.
enamored.
Yeah, I'm really enamored.
Me too.
Here's the. I mean, I did the Cotton Bowl, and so I was watching the Alabama-Florida tape to get ready for Florida playing in the Cotton Bowl. And Surtain might turn out to be the best cornerback that's ever played. Or maybe Horn is the guy who's going to be best. I haven't looked at a lot of film of him, but I kind of have a little sneaky feeling that Horn's going to be really good. All I know is Pitts turned Surtain inside out when Florida played Alabama. Wow. And he is going to do that, I think. Now, I think that Jerry – here's one thing, Mike, that I'm sure of. Jerry wants us to talk about it. I think that he would be enamored of Pitts. He was enamored of Johnny Manziel when he was talked out of taking him, and they wound up with Zach Martin, who's going to be in the Hall of Fame. Mm-hmm. So the fact that Jerry is enamored of Kyle Pitts as a football player doesn't make him unique, doesn't make him wrong, doesn't mean they're going to take him. What they would have to do to get up to wherever, and of course you say the draft kind of begins with them, but I'm not sure that's right. Yeah. I think the draft might start with Atlanta.
Well, I'm saying they're one of the teams that will turn on.
Yeah, one of the teams. Fair enough. Okay, yeah, because I think that, right after the bowl season, and I had seen that tape, and people are on Twitter, you go on a radio show, and I said, look, I'm just telling you people, and everybody here, again, those coaches who are so helpful, and they're also draft experts. I don't know how they multitask like that.
I love
it. And they say, it's got to be defense. Every pick's defense. Yeah. So somebody said something one day on Twitter, and I said, did you like C.D. Lamb?
Yeah.
Well, what if Kyle Pitts – I'm not saying he is. What if Kyle Pitts is a better prospect than C.D. Lamb? What if he is fourth on your board and he's there when you pick at 10? What do you do? So then the answer has to be it depends on where you have the defensive players who are picked. It also depends on one or two offensive linemen, I think. Mm-hmm. Anybody who's not interested in Kyle Pitts is either looking specifically for a quarterback or nuts. But just because you're interested in the player doesn't mean it's a good idea to do what it takes to get him. It would really surprise me if they – and, Mike, you'll agree with this. The closer you get to the draft, the more overvalued these picks get. Yeah. And so by the time you get to draft day, they're not worth nearly what people are willing to pay for them, because the public pressure's there. And I just can't imagine that paying what I think it would take to move from 10 to 4 or wherever. Maybe they say, let's see what happens at 4, and then we'll be prepared to move up a couple of spots. But this team needs a lot of defensive help, a lot. And, yeah, they got 10 picks, and I guarantee you, if they draft 10 players, they're not all going to be good, because nobody's ever 100% for the draft, and they could use 20 defensive players, and they won't get that. So, but if Pitts is a transcendent player and available to them without crippling yourself in the draft, I think you have to take him. But I don't think that'll happen.
Well, Brad, just real quick before we have to let you go up against the break a little bit, you mentioned something about Jerry and just talk about us. The biggest topic this past year, 18 months, 24 months, has been Dak Prescott and his deal. Some people thought you should have did it earlier, and then, bam, he gets hurt, and out of nowhere, Jerry gives him one of the biggest contracts ever. Was that one of those talk about us, or were they actually just filling out Dak to see where he would go, how the team would feel, or was the confidence all the way there in Dak Prescott to get this type of deal?
The team was all in on Prescott all along. Don't worry about that. But, even the people here, let alone around the country, who think that Jerry is a football idiot, agree that he's a business genius. So we start with that.
Mm-hmm.
And then you said that some people said they should have signed him 2 years ago, and that is a correct statement, and I personally am working very hard to try to expunge the word should from my vocabulary because it's just way too judgmental in my opinion. They could have done that. They absolutely could have. They were also trying to get ahead of Ezekiel Elliott's contract at that time, and this was a team that, the offensive linemen were 2 years younger, and you had this power back, and you saw what they did as rookies in 2016, and that was the hub. It makes quarterbacking easier when you have a really great offensive line and a powerful runner. You guys know that.
Mm-hmm.
So could they have done something with him 2 years ago? Yes. I do think that they are smart enough to look at the market, know what's going to happen with the quarterback stuff, and so there was even more criticism. And by the way, remember, 16, they have the great year, then they don't win in the playoffs. 17, my opinion, coaching staff makes some really bad decisions with the offensive line. When Tyron Smith got hurt, they go to Atlanta. They give up, I think, 50 sacks one day, and that was at midseason. And you could then see Dak start to make bad decisions. Okay, well, now that's his second year. 18's a good year, ends badly. So now he's a great statistical quarterback who hasn't won anything. And that's part of the debate. And so when you're a businessman, knowing that you've got a big contract to do, and that's part of the debate, you're going to try to leverage that. In any business, when the Titans sit down to decide how much to pay Mike Keith, doesn't matter how much they love him. Their job is to get him for as little as they can give up. His job is to get for him and his family as much as he can. And that's a difficult thing, and especially when you're talking about a quarterback position and people who've never spoken to anybody on either side are opining about what it means, about what the Cowboys feel about Prescott. A year ago, there was no way they were going to make a deal. If you're Dak Prescott's agent a year ago, you are looking at the TV deal coming up. You're looking at Watson and Mahomes getting ready to reset the quarterback market. You're going to make $31 million this year on the tag. Why would you sign anything before any of those things happen? Unless they want to ridiculously overpay you, which they didn't want to do. So we get to where we get, and part of the recipe is what happened to the team when they lost Prescott. And so the contract they gave him is what it costs to do business. That's the price of doing business, and in 2 years, it won't be that big a contract.
Gotcha.
It's like the Ryan Tannehill deal looks like a very good deal for the Titans right now based on absolutely. Brad Sham, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Anytime.
It is special to be on the radio with you anytime, and thank you so much for making time with us on this Monday morning.
Anytime. You guys stay healthy.
Absolutely same.
It's the voice of the Dallas Cowboys, Brad Sham, on JMart and Ramon here on 104.5 The Zone.
More Titans, NFL draft talk, and speculation on your smart speaker. Just ask Alexa to play 104.5 The Zone.
Buying or selling a car, okay? Not a house this time, but a car is one of the biggest financial decisions you can make. And we do that earlier sometimes than we do with a house. But that's why Edmunds has been taking all of the guesswork out of car shopping for over 50 years. And this is the thing, whether you're in the process, wherever you are in the process, Edmunds.com can help. They have a ton of local listings of new and used vehicles with deal ratings that they can see if you're giving a fair offer. And if the free online tools, and their free online tools can help you build your budget, calculate your finances, and even get you a free appraisal if you're selling or trading in a car. This is the thing. Not sure where to start? The Edmunds editorial team test drives over 300 new vehicles a year, reviewing almost every car on the market so you can narrow down your search to their top-ranked SUVs, trucks, cars, electric. It doesn't matter. They can narrow it down for you. And this is the thing. If you guys didn't notice about me, I call myself a car guy, okay? I'm always looking for one. Not really going to buy, but I just want to see what the market is. If I've just bought one, guess what? I go to Edmunds.com to see what my value is. If I'm looking to trade in, hey, my truck, guess what I'm going to? Edmunds.com. This is the thing about Edmunds. They have tons of experts, okay? And whether you're trying to decide on the price range, Edmunds has a price checker made for you so you can be confident in finding your car and getting a quote or at least getting you in the ballpark. That's what Edmunds does for you. Selling your car, they do the same thing. They have online appraisals for you guys. So if you want to trade in your car, okay, Edmunds.com is where you need to go to when you're doing a price checker because guess what? Car prices are always ever changing, and so is the Edmunds.com website. So whether you're just browsing or know exactly what you want, like some people, I'm one of those people because I go to Edmunds.com. Edmunds gives you that extra boost of confidence. Listen to me. Visit Edmunds.com to get started. For cards, there's Edmunds.
Moist. Slacks. Vegetables.
The 3 worst words in the English language. The other 3 worst words?
Oh no. Termites.
They cause more damage than fires, floods, and tornadoes combined. And they are everywhere in Middle Tennessee. Are you protected?
We can help.
Call All American Pest Control.
615-209-9929. Yuckbugs.com.
Fleet Cards USA.
Fleet Cards USA. Barb speaking.
Hiya, Bob. Got a good-sized plumbing outfit here in Milwaukee. 12 vans. Problem is, all the driver receipts, expense sheets.
You're drowning in paperwork.
Exactly.
Get fuel cards. They're the easy way to track every dollar spent on fuel. Could save you some money. Plus, the reporting could save you even more. So flush that big old receipt mess right down the drain.
Yeah, we don't recommend that.
Go to FleetCardsUSA.com. Answer a few questions, and hi-ho, you're good to go.
Fleet Cards USA.
I'm Mick McGorn from 1 Hour, and spring is the best time to rejuvenate your AC with a maintenance plan I call...
Mick's Trifecta.
Wait a minute, Ryan. Naming it after me?
Of course, Mick. Your spring AC maintenance package protects your system 3 ways.
I don't like to draw attention to myself.
That's crazy. You're a natural.
You think so?
The camera loves you, Mick.
This is radio, Ryan.
So tell us why Mick's Trifecta is such a great service.
First, your system is completely cleaned on the inside. Perfect.
Then what?
Every moving part lubricated so it runs smooth. Perfect.
And then?
Your system is tuned and calibrated to factory specs. Perfect.
Running at maximum efficiency.
And all this for only...
$133.
Okay, Ryan, I guess we can call it Mick's Trifecta.
1hourmick.com.
Always on time, or you don't pay a dime.
Make your appointment for Mick's Trifecta.
Guaranteed 3 ways.
Good idea on the name, Ryan. Maybe I'll keep you around a bit longer.
Independently owned and operated. If you're thinking about selling your home this spring, now is the time. Hi, this is Mark Spain. When it comes to selling your home, experience matters. The Wall Street Journal ranks Mark Spain Real Estate #1 in the United States for closed homes for the 3rd year in a row. And when you call us, we respond fast. You can sell your home hassle-free and skip the constant cleaning, repairs, and all the stress. With that guaranteed offer from Mark Spain Real Estate, you can receive an all-cash offer and close in as little as 21 days. Trust me, I've been in business for over 25 years and served over 25,000 homeowners, and I know what matters most: a quick sell and maximum profit. One of our clients, Chris, said, Mark Spain Real Estate made selling our home so easy and stress-free with their guaranteed offer program. We got an offer above market value, exceeding all of our expectations. Work with the most trusted team in real estate. Go to markspain.com to get a guaranteed offer on your home today and start packing.
855-299 sold.
Certain restrictions apply.
What could you do with an extra 30 or 40 or 50 grand right now? Pay off your credit cards? Maybe do that home improvement project? Maybe it's time for a Loan Pronto cash out refi. Hey, it's Dawn Davenport. Listen, your home's value is way up, a record high. You can do a fast, easy refi with Loan Pronto and get cash out now. Rates are still low, and with Loan Pronto, they can cover all of your closing costs. Think about it. You get a lower rate with no closing costs, and they hand you a check for $40,000 or $50,000, maybe even more. and you get to skip your next 2 house payments in the process. Go to loanpronto.com now. If you have over $5,000 in credit card debt, you need to consider this. You can consolidate your debt into one payment and save hundreds or even thousands per month. Call now. Ask about Loan Pronto's zero-cost cash out refi. Loanpronto.com, 615-499-5780. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781. Subject to lender approval, not available on all loans.
Download the 104.5 The Zone app and take your home for Titans football with you anywhere. 104.5 The Zone.
Presented by All Four Seasons Garage Doors, JMart and Ramon, wrapping up a show. I'm Mike Keith, sitting in for Jason Martin with Ramon Foster. We have been busy this morning, talking about the NFL draft and quarterbacks and Trevor Lawrence, and talking with Dave McGinnis, and talking with Brad Sham.
Man.
And laying out that Joe Buck wants to be the next host of Jeopardy, and the importance of the University of Tennessee's orange and white game and how it's more important than in years past. We have been all over the place this morning, my friend. It's been a lot of fun.
It has been. Speaking of the orange and white game, I'm looking forward to it this weekend. We'll be loading up the show. Me, Schaefer, Jason, Ron Slade going to Knoxville this weekend, man. We're going to document some stuff. We'll set up shop in one of the parking lots. We'll pass out all of the information, man, about what we're trying to do this weekend. It'll be a good time. Like, there's a lot to take in this weekend. I'm hoping the old VFLs come out, as many as we can at our setup. We'll have there, and just safely, socially distance as much as we can.
There you go.
And have a good time, man. God, I don't want to say we're back because we're not. We got a lot of work to do in Knoxville, but at least the support. We were just talking before we came on air, Mike, about what it meant to be a UT and the coaches and the culture and the staff. That's huge. And that's huge for the fans, too, to be involved with it, too. So, orange or white this weekend. Big.
By the way, love Ron Slay.
Yeah.
Love hearing him on the radio.
Yeah.
It is so much fun. One of my favorite players.
Everybody's favorite.
Oh, gosh. Ron Slay could do it all. Coast to coast.
Coast to coast.
He's still doing it coast to coast.
He is. Apparently, he'll be on 3HL this evening.
Good.
Buck is following it up. Blaine and Mickey, man.
Yeah, Buck Rising standing by, ready to take over the mantle of 104.5 The Zone for Ramon Foster and Jonathan Schaefer. Mike Keith sitting in for Jason Martin. Thanks for listening, and we'll talk to you again this morning. I don't even know.
You know, I'll finish it up. I got you.
Just go.
And remember, your Twitter fingers and your mic is always hot, everybody.
Cough syrup and eyebrow trimming don't mix. Just ask Buck.
I was doped up on, I think, cough syrup, and I accidentally shaved off my eyebrows. It was definitely noticeable for about a week.
Buck Rising, today, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. on 104.5 The Zone.
This is Boomer Esiason with the CBS Sports Minute. If I were updating the sports dictionary today, next to the word persistence, I would insert photos of Sean Kazmir Jr. and Stuart Sink. On Saturday, Kazmir, a 36-year-old infielder, returned to the major leagues after a 13-year stint in the minors. There could have been obvious times where I doubted this opportunity would ever come, Kazmir said, but honestly, I still felt like I had the ability to play at this level. Back in September, Sink won the Safeway Open to end an 11-year drought, dating back to his playoff victory over Tom Watson in the 2009 British Open at Turnberry. Yesterday, the 47-year-old Sink completed a wire-to-wire stress-free 4-stroke victory at the RBC Heritage, becoming the only player beside Bryson DeChambeau to notch 2 wins on the PGA Tour this season. Co-runner-up Harold Varner III said admiringly, "He's old and he's kicking everyone's butt, and I like it." I'm Boomer Esiason.
O'Reilly. Is your car no longer stopping like it used to? Don't miss out on spring brake deals at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Our professional parts people will help you find the brake parts and supplies you need to do the job right the first time. You'll find great deals on brake pads and rotors, fluids, degreasers, and more. Stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts today or visit O'ReillyAuto.com.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
The Wendy's restaurant in your area has issued a major bag alert.
Major bag alert.